Sir, we are audible to you. Sharma sir, we are audible to you.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yes. Sir is asking something. मैं पूछ रहा था अभी फिर ऑडिट का काम कैसे चल रहा है, जा रहे हैं साइट पे या ऑनलाइन ही चल रहा है?
सर ऑनलाइन चल रहा है।
अच्छा,
ऑनलाइन ही चल रहा है और सबको बीच के अंदर पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेशन के अंदर वो रहे सर। सभी जो उनका पहले 11 थी, अब वर्क फ्रॉम होम की पॉलिसी भी एज पर सर्टेन डायरेक्शंस वो बना के सबको दे दी सारे क्लाइंट्स को।
अच्छा।
तो ऑनलाइन ही चल रहा है। क्योंकि वो सारे सबको जो वीपीएन का सिलेक्शन ऑफ वीपीएन नेटवर्क का उसमें भी कई बार आती है, तो ऑनलाइन ही सब चलता रहता है।
अच्छा,
एक बार अब जो आने वाला टाइम है सर, जैसे ये आपका पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट बन जाएगा, बिल जो प्रोसेस में है, उसके बाद में टेक्नोक्रेट्स की जरूरत इसमें ऑडिट के अंदर बहुत ज्यादा रहेगी सर। तो थोड़ा आप भी सर इस करिकुलम के साथ साथ कोई इस तरह का सर्टिफिकेशन कोर्स और कभी अपन डिस्कस कर लेंगे सर। ये जो ऑनलाइन असेसमेंट का, पेनिट्रेशन का, उसका जो प्रैक्टिकल के अंदर जो है ना, एक थ्योरेटिकल तो थोड़ा थोड़ा बताते हैं, लेकिन जो ऑडिटीज है ना सब कॉर्पोरेट की एक ही शिकायत रहती है जब हम ऑडिट करने जाते हैं, कहते हैं कि सर हम नए बंदों को जो हायर करते हैं, तो हम तो उनको साइबर सिक्योरिटी का, क्योंकि इस समय वो टॉप प्रायोरिटी के ऊपर है, तो उनको बस वो कहते हैं साहब हमने एक चैप्टर था उसको तो वो कर दिया, दे आर नॉट एक्सपर्ट इन दैट। लेकिन इसके अंदर ये जरूरी है। फिर आप तो जैसे कंप्लाइंस नहीं करो, नॉन कंप्लाइंस के अंदर हैवी पेनल्टी है इसे पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट के अंदर से।
अच्छा, नहीं प्रॉब्लम क्या है, अपनी दिक्कत क्या हो रहा है बच्चों के साथ में ना, इतना सेंसिटिव बच्चा नहीं है।
जी जी,
ये इनके लिखना चाहते नहीं
जी।
तो सबसे बड़ा परेशानी वो आप रख दीजिए करिकुलम में, जब नहीं पढ़ेंगे बड़ा मुश्किल है।
मेरा हम्बल सबमिशन है सर, ये कोई ऐसा मान लीजिए ऑनलाइन सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स 2-3 करें, जैसे पेनिट्रेशन का उसका, तो उसमें जो बच्चे इंटरेस्टेड है ना इसके अंदर, और उसका टाइमिंग ऐसा कर दें कि वो मतलब कभी भी अपने एक्स्ट्रा टाइम में कर ले, तो जो इंटरेस्टेड है उनको वो मिल जाएगा।
नहीं ठीक है, कर ले से बात करके ना एक करिकुलम, छोटा सा करिकुलम डिजाइन कर लेंगे सर। 1 मिनट बस।
डिपार्टमेंट
ये उधर सुन तो नहीं रहा।
हाँ सर, तो ऐसा ही करेंगे, आपसे बात करके और कुछ बना लेंगे
सर।
ऑनलाइन। तो फिर बाकी लोगों को भी हम ओपन कर सकते हैं, जो भी NIT 1-2 जो भी नॉर्थ ईस्ट की NIT की मैं बात कर लूंगा।
जी
तो
सर,
हम कॉमन भी रख सकते हैं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, सबसे कर लेंगे सर, उसमें कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं सर।
क्योंकि ये तो हम भी सोच रहे हैं कि प्रैक्टिकल और बहुत जरूरी है आजकल हर चीज का ना।
जी सर।
तो शुरुआत करते हैं फिर, अच्छा ही रहेगा।
जी सर।
और इसीलिए हमने क्या ना 7th सेमेस्टर को टाइट कर रखा है। 7th सेमेस्टर क्योंकि प्लेसमेंट भी होता है, तो वहाँ हमने खाली 4 सेमेस्टर रखे हैं।
जी सर।
तो ये जो आपका आइडिया है ना, एक आध सब्जेक्ट हम फिर वहाँ डाल सकते हैं, उसमें भी हेल्प कर। और आगे भी इसको
जी सर।
तो आपसे बात करके कुछ नहीं।
क्योंकि
बेसिक करना पड़ेगा फिर अपने।
हाँ सर, अब आने वाले टाइम के अंदर सर साइबर सिक्योरिटी टॉप पे रहेगी।
हाँ नेचुरली वो सिक्योरिटी तो टॉप पर है ही है,
हाँ,
लेकिन ज्यादा ऑटोमेशन हो रहा है।
इस कोविड-19 के कारण तो सब चीजें ऑनलाइन हो गई नहीं सर।
नहीं वैसे भी ऑटोमेशन इतना ज्यादा है ना, ये कोविड आता नहीं आता साइबर सिक्योरिटी तो पैरामाउंट है ही है।
हाँ वो है, लेकिन आप थोड़ा सा उसमें जल्दी हो गया सर,
हाँ
एक्सेलरेट
नहीं एक्चुअली क्या है, इंडस्ट्री का तो ऑटोमेशन होना ही होना है
सर।
और सबसे ज्यादा रिक्वायरमेंट तो इंडस्ट्री में ही है। वहां पे प्रोटेक्शन आपने प्रॉपर नहीं दिया तो कुछ भी हो सकता है वहां पर।
सर
तो ये तो होना ही था, बट ठीक है इंस्टीट्यूशंस में बहुत ज्यादा डाइवर्जन है, इसलिए कई बार
नहीं आवाज कट हो रही है। ना
आवाज में दिक्कत हो रही
सर, कई बार आपकी आवाज कट जाती है बीच में,
है। ओ नेटवर्क
कई
इशू।
बार हल्का सा कट जाती है बीच में।
अच्छा
बाकी तो क्लियर है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। सर हमने कुछ प्रोग्राम्स डिजाइन किए हैं, कुछ कोर्सेज, तो मैं आपको बिल्कुल रफ स्केच ही उसके अंदर भेजता हूं मैं।
हाँ ठीक है।
हाँ, तो उसको 5-10 दिन के अंदर हमारे एक जो दो जो है ना उनके ये पॉजिटिव आ गया, सचिन के एक उनके, तो अभी अभी तो निगेटिव तो आ गया, लेकिन अभी 15 दिन के लिए
नहीं बहुत
आइसोलेशन।
आप 15 दिन तो कम से कम रखो ही दूर।
नहीं नहीं, आइसोलेशन में रखेंगे सर, कोई दिक्कत की बात।
15 दिन
तो
जरूरी
उसके
है।
बाद में एक बार जो सारा हम बैठ के
हाँ हाँ
और उसको फिर मैं आपको भेजता हूँ सर।
शुरू करें सर फिर।
यस सर, यस सर।
गुड आफ्टरनून सर। On behalf of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, National Institute of Technology Sikkim, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome Dr. C.P. Sharmaji, retired IPS and founder and CEO, Dr. CPS Cyber Security Services LLP, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Dr. Sharmaji did his MSc Physics with specialization in microelectronics, MA Philosophy with gold medal, PhD in student police relationship, LLB with diploma in cyber law, a certified auditor with ISO certificate. He is also a member of Data Security Council of India. He becomes the governor's nominee, SP University of Police, Security and Criminal Justice, Jodhpur, and was visiting faculty Center for Cyber Security, SPU Police, Jodhpur. He has also acted as member secretary, Rajasthan State DC Commission. Dr. Sharmaji is recipient of prestigious President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service Police Services. He received Police Medal for Meritorious Services, 12 Board Double Barrel Gun for Outstanding Cyber Crime Investigation of Baji case of 2010, 32 Board Pistol for courageous work, law and work in good year education. Also received Governor's Court of Honor for the best professional of God. He also received Amrita Devi State Award for conservation of environment and forest sanitation in the state. During his active services, Dr. Sharmaji was posted as Deputy Inspector General of Police Security, Rajasthan, Deputy Inspector General of Police Law and Order, Rajasthan, Superintendent of Police, Jaipur City District, Superintendent of Police, Jaipur Rural District, Superintendent of Police, Dausa District. He also acted as Superintendent of Police, Cybercrime, SCRB Section, Superintendent of Police, SOG and ATS Section, Superintendent of Police, Special Crimes and Economic Offences, as well as Additional Deputy Commissioner to Governor of Rajasthan and Commandant of 4th Battalion RAC. Dr. Sharmaji also acted as Additional Superintendent of Police, Jaipur City, Jaipur Rural, Kota City, Sri Ganganagar District, Bikaner District, Jaipur City Crime and Vigilance, Jaipur City Anti-Corruption Bureau, Anti-Corruption Bureau Crime, Rajasthan, as well as Vice Principal of Rajasthan Police Academy. In addition to this, he has also handled several field assignments in Jaipur City, Jodhpur City, Ajmer City, and Bikaner City. So I welcome you, sir. It is our great honor, sir, for being here and spending your valuable time with us. Sir, please, I request you to deliver your lecture on this topic, legal mandate and international standard.
ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I pray to the Almighty God, may the knowledge shared in today's session be sharp and brilliant, and there be no animosity in both of us, you the participants online in the webinar and me the speaker. Chief Patron of the webinar, Honorable Professor Dr. Mahesh Chandji Govil, Director NIT Sikkim, Patron of the webinar, Dr. Ranjanji Basak, Dean Academics, Program Coordinator, Dr. Sangramji Ray, Convener, Dr. Prathyaji Kulia, Head, Computer Science Department, NIT Sikkim, learned faculty members, all the participants, and everybody present online in the webinar. A very good afternoon to you all. It is indeed an honor to me, and I feel really privileged to be given the opportunity to address the galaxy of academicians who are present online, where each one possesses the indomitable spirit of being a channel of positive change in the society in general and the youth in particular. I'm especially thankful to Professor M.C. Govilji, Director NIT Sikkim, whose sincere and enthusiastic effort to make me joining possible in this program of security of uncontrollable, viral, intangible, and virtual reality, which is the real threat to democracy. In this session, we will discuss cybersecurity, its legal mandate, and international standards, which has two components. First, the legal mandate of the cybersecurity, and the second, the international standard to maintain the cybersecurity. So, dear academicians and everybody present online, now we will discuss the legal mandate for cybersecurity. We all know that there is a paradigm shift due to the revolutionary development in the digital and computational technology, though it has made our life easier, accelerated, and excellent. But at the same time, we are also facing serious new threats in the form of data theft, attack on privacy, and other types of cyber crimes, and are impacted badly by the same. after this COVID-19, all the body corporate industries run their business through e-business and e-commerce. All uh, corporate industries and they run their own e-commerce. All educational institutions are imparting education online in which all the transactions are carried out by means of electronic data interchange using computer resource, web, internet, intranet, extranet, or the combination of these nets. Every individual, association of individuals, corporate, professional, businessman, industrialist, researcher, academician, students, all and everybody is so adversely impacted that today's prime concern is how to protect one's information or data. To say how to protect data from the clutches of cyber criminals. This is of utmost importance. The paper-based methods of communication and storage of information in the form of Amrapatra, Bhojpatra, seals and stamps and other legal instruments made of metal or paper were recognized from ancient times to modern times. Since in the present time, what is the paradigm shift? In the present time, the transactions are mostly carried out by means of electronic data interchange and other means of electronic communication, commonly referred as e-commerce, which is an alternative to the paper-based methods of communication and storage of information. To provide legal recognition for the transaction carried out by means of electronic data interchange and to facilitate electronic filing of the document with the government and other agencies, and also to provide legal framework to mitigate and prevent cyber crime, which is an outcome of the electronic data exchange, the necessity of some effective legal mandate was given. This is how we need this legal mandate. Since the electronic data exchange has no geographic or physical boundaries and in virtual in nature, it is a global phenomenon. Hence, uniformity of law is needed. After recognizing this fact, first of all, the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law adopted the model law on electronic commerce, which was further adopted by the General Assembly of United Nations by the resolution dated 30th January 1997 and recommended to all the member states that all member states will give favorable consideration to the said model law, which they have accepted, whenever they enact, is whenever the member states enact and revise their laws on recognition of electronic data interchange. So that is the first importance why it is needed. Dear academician, that is the starting point of legal mandate for the cybersecurity. To give effect to the said resolution on the UN General Assembly and to provide legal recognition, also to promote efficient delivery of government services by means of reliable electronic records, the Parliament of Republic of India enacted the law called the Information Technology Act 2000 on 17th of October 2000. Though we all are well versed with the cyber security, what is cyber security we all know. But if you define it in a holistic way, incorporating all the ingredients, we may say that cyber security is basically the protection of information, equipment, devices, computer resources, communication device, and also information including data, message, text, image, sound, voice, codes, computer programs, software and database, etc. from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction through the technologies, processes, and practices. They are so designed to ensure three things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information. And which is information that is which is related to the characteristic of culture of computers, information technology, virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, encryption, dark web, and cryptocurrency, and all other parameters of cyberspace. So that is the cybersecurity holistic definition. This information, which we are talking about to protect the information basically, the information prepared in the formalized manner, processed in the computer system and stored in the internal memory of the computer resource. Or we can say that when the information is routed through the path of computer resource, then it is called data. So now we always talk about the data privacy and data security. So the cyber security is known by the name information security also, as well as the data security. The legal mandate includes, what do we mean by legal mandate? It includes law, rules, procedures, and policies to give effect to the implementation of law protecting the data in the cyberspace. That is what we mean by legal mandate. The thrust from the whole system is to make the information which is generated, produced, received, processed, transmitted, or procured or stored in the computer resource system be authentic. It should be authentic, it should be reliable, and it should be available. This requires that the information should maintain its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality means it is not available to the person who are not authorized to access. And then integrity, it is not changed. It is as it is. And availability, it should be available, make available or accessible to the person who are authorized to access. Now we come to the legal provisions under the IT Act, which was enacted by the Parliament. So the IT Act, there are the provisions to protect the data in the computer resource system. The Act provides protection under, first of all, it comes under Section 43, which is, you can see on the screen, I have just shared you. This section safeguards against 10 actions. Number one is access, unauthorized copy or downloads or extracts, and then introducing virus, then damage, disrupt or denial of service, assisting unauthorized access, then assisting, then fraudulent charges for the services, or destroy, delete, alter any information in the computer resource system, steal, conceal, destroy, or alter source code. Under this section, there is a provision for penalties as well as punishment for dishonest and fraudulent act. Now, the Act also defines offences under and their punishments for illegal use of computer resource where computer is either a target or a tool, and the offences are under the various sections. It is from section 43 is one section. Now after that, section 65, tampering with computer source document. Then 66, computer related offences. 66B, receiving stolen computer and communication devices. 66C, punishment for identity theft. 60D, cheating in computer resources. And 66E, punishment for violation of privacy. 66F, cyber terrorism. 67, punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene material in electronic form. 67A, punishment for publishing or transmitting of material containing sexually explicit act, etc. in the electronic form. 67B, if it is regarding the transmitting material depicting children, the sexually act, and 67C, failure to maintain the reports. These are all sections. Then 68, failure, refusal of to comply the orders, failure, refusal to decrypt data, power to issue directions for blocking the 69A, then 70B, Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, 71, penalty for misrepresentation, 72, penalty, a breach of confidentiality, 72A, that is a punishment for disclosure of information, breach of lawful contract, 73 publishing electronic signature certificate in a false way, then 74 publication of fraudulent purposes, 75 had to apply offences, then 76 confiscation, and all these are the power given to the various agencies. This is the legal protection of the information from the third party attack. What we were discussing, it is from the third party attack. It starts with nobody. But where the information of a person is received or maintained or processed and stored in the computer source of a second person, or there is a second party. So the personal data of the first party is there in the computer source of the second party. So how to protect that? Uh, for that in the act, second person, if he is negligent, if the information of the person is accessed unauthorized, causing wrongful loss or wrongful gain to the person, is also covered by law. There is a section 43A for this. Because the government of India, when it recognizes that the mandated practice and procedure on information security, so they amended this act by inserting section 43A. New section was introduced, and this section defines this is about the compensation to failure to protect the data. So basically, it is just to protect the legal mandate. Mandate is just to protect the data. As the cyber security. So this defines where a body corporate possessing, dealing, or handling any sensitive personal data or information in a computer resource. So first, it is applicable to the body corporate. Number two, the body corporate should have the computer resource which it owns or controls or operates. Third is if it is negligent in implementing, maintaining reasonable security practices and procedure, and thereby causes wrongful loss or wrongful. So third thing which is required is that you should maintain the reasonable security practice and procedure. So there are three things important. Now, it has also defined what is a body corporate in the act itself. Body corporate means any company, firm, sole proprietorship, association of individuals engage in commercial or professional activity. So it is applicable. It's a definition exhaustive. Everybody comes under the definition of body corporate. Now, second is the reasonable security practice and procedure. So there is a separate rules have been formulated under section 43, and that is the information technology, reasonable security practice and procedures, and sensitive personal data or information rules 2011. They enumerate the permission for collection of data. So who will give the permission? The person whose data is collected. You have to take the permission from him. Then purpose of collection. Usage, its disclosure, transfer of sensitive personal data or information so collected and reasonable security practices to protect the sensitive personal data. In these rules, it was a clear mandate that the body corporate who collects, receives, possesses, stores, deals or handles to provide the information shall have a documented privacy policy. That is important. Rule 4 says that the body corporate shall have the documented privacy policy, and that privacy policy shall be placed on the website of the corporate. These are two very important things. For reasonable security practice and procedure, the legal mandate is that they should implement comprehensive documented information security program, practices, procedures, and information security policies. That is important. That is under Rule 8.1, which is there on your screen. So that is required. And then the physical security control measures should be there to protect the information assets. What are these controls? So it is relevant to discuss the legal mandate to protect right to privacy of an individual. So the right to privacy, the United Nations has already been promoting right to privacy even before the digital age. We are talking about the digital age, but United Nations was very particular about the right of privacy even before the digital age through its human rights treaties and various international covenants. The United Nations, through its Article 12 Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Article 17 of the International Covenants of Civil and Political Rights, recommended that, important is, what the recommendation is, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary or unlawful interference in the privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to unlawful attacks on its honor and reputation, and everyone has the right to protect, right to have the protection of law against such interference and attacks. That is the matter. As we have discussed, the UN General Assembly recommending the use of transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange and other means of electronic communication, which involve the use of alternative to paper-based methods of communication and storage of information. The Assembly, the UN General Assembly, expressed a deep concern for the surveillance and interception of communication that has a negative impact on human rights. Also adopted a resolution. The resolution is, I think it is 68 by 167. Yeah, 68 by 167 in December 2013 in this case. The General Assembly resolved that offline rights of the people must also be protected online. That's important. Offline rights of the people must also be protected online and recommended all states, all member states to respect and promote the right to privacy in digital communication by reviewing their practices, procedures, and legislations related to the digital communication, interception, and collection of personal data. The General Assembly gave emphasis to ensure full and effective implementation of the state obligations. The second, we are considering the not only India, we are globally concerned. It is the privacy of data and data protection. It's the concern of global concern. Now again, there is an organization, OECD, the 34-member organization of economic organization for economic cooperation and development, OECD, in consultation with the broad group of stakeholders, have developed guidelines on the protection of privacy and transborder flow of personal data long ago in 1980, which were further revised in 2013. These guidelines have their influence on content of privacy law around the world. There are about, I think, 8 backbone privacy and principles which are included in the most national policies. The second is, after OECD, it is the European Union, EU. The European Union Parliament approved the General Data Protection Regulation, that is GDPR. So that they approved on April 14, 2016, which is enforced on May 25, 2018. European Union gave protection to data and utmost importance, and also declared that right to privacy is a fundamental right provided for every natural. This legal mandate is applicable to all data controllers or processors established in EU. Second, processes and monitors personal data of individuals who are in EU. And third, the data controller or processor who are established outside the EU, where law of the one of EU countries applies. So it is applicable in all the 3 cases. So the penalty of non-compliance is to the tune of euro 20 billion or 4% of the global turnover of the preceding year, whichever is more. Whichever is more means minimum it is 20 million euro is the minimum. But there are no criminal proceedings and provisions for the imprisonment in this. So again, the third agency, a right to privacy provided to every nature and is expected, since it is accepted worldwide. Almost all member states, hence 157 countries across world, considered it necessary to give effect to the recommendation of United Nations by enacting law on data security in the respective countries. Is again data security. Now comes the recent proposed Personal Data Protection Bill 2019 in India. The government of India also found that the present legal mandate to protect the data under Section 43A, which we just discussed, that the data, one who receives the data or processes the data should have the reasonable security practice and procedure, follow the rules made under. So this Section 43A is insufficient and not compatible with the present IT scenario, IT security scenario. So the central government drafted a bill in 2018 on personal data protection, and on which Justice B.N. Sri Krishna committee, we have read in the papers, also submitted a report to the IT minister. After receiving the report, this bill was redrafted in 2019. And now it is in the parliament in the name Personal Data Protection Bill 2019. In the draft bill 2019, the important thing is the personal data, the sensitive personal data, the financial data, the generic data, and data fiduciary are explicitly defined. And for the non-compliance and on the contravention of the provisions to protect the data, there's a penalty proposed which may extend to 5 crore rupees or 2% of the total worldwide turnover of the preceding financial year, whichever is higher. Again, whichever higher means 5 crore is a minimum. That is also right in it. So these are the glimpses of legal mandate for the cyber security in India and outside world globally for the protection of privacy. Thank you very much. Now, we discuss the second part, learned academicians and everybody online. So, to discuss the international standards in the domain of cybersecurity. Now, again, the question comes to our mind, why do we need the international standardization to protect the data in the cyberspace within our boundaries of our nation? What's the need of international standardization? The answer is in question itself. The cyberspace is a virtual reality which is non-tangible and so has no geographical or physical boundaries. Since it is a global phenomenon, hence the uniformity of international standard of cybersecurity is needed. So that is the need of the international standards. Now, the international standards for cybersecurity, they are formulated by the body named, the first is International Organization for Standardization, ISO, which everybody knows. And the ISO, in consultation with the International Electro-Technical Commission, IEC, the second is the IEC, International Electro-Technical Commission. So they established a joint technical committee, ISO/IAC JTC. The committee prepared the document on formation or technology security techniques, and it was given the nomenclature IEC 27001. The first was in the 2003, then 5, then 2013. So today it is there in the ISO IEC 27001 2013. The different international standards for cybersecurity controls required for securing the data as well as securing the transaction of money which are in are total worldwide. The international standardized hai. There are 11 security controls and they are of 5 different categories. This ISO is one category. The first category is the ISO, which has been, it has 7 standards. ISO 27001, ISO 27015, ISO 8583, ISO 8583 first, ISO 20022, ISO 27017, and ISO 27018. All these are the cyber security standards, international standards. Then the second category is PCI DSS, that is the payment card industry data security standards. The third is the SWIFT, SWIFT, that the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications Customer Security Program, CSP, the Customer Security Programs. Then fourth is the COBIT, COBIT 5. This is the COVID control objectives for information and related technologies. And the fifth is the ITIL, Information Technology Infrastructure Library Controls and Standards. Number one, the Information Security Management System, just we discussed 27001, 2013. It is an information security standard. Yes, carry on the PPT. The same PPT. Yes, please. So that it is there on the screen. The number one is the Information Security Management System, ISO IEC 27001 2013. Basically, it is an information security standard, part of the ISO IEC 27000 family of standards. ISO IEC 27000 specifies a management system. And what do you mean by 27001? It specifies a management system that is intended to bring information security using IT security controls, which are defined in ISO 27002. And total there are in ISO 27001. The controls we defined in 27002 are total 114. It is basically to protect the data, including the financial institution. That is the purpose of ISO. Then second is the ISO IEC TR 27015, 27015. So 27015 provides information security guidance, complementing and in addition to information security controls defined in ISO 27002 for initiating, implementing, maintaining, and improving information security within organization providing the financial services. That is this 27015. Now the third is all the ISO family. Third, the ISO 8583. So this ISO 8583 provides controls for card originated financial transactions messages and interchange messages specifications are enumerated. That is ISO 8583. Then fourth of the family is ISO 20022. This is for controls to secure the electronic data interchange. The fifth of this is ISO 8583 first contains controls for financial transaction card originated messages, interchange message specifications. This control. Six is the ISO 27016. The code of practice for information security controls based on ISO 27001 for cloud services. It is 27017 is for the cloud services, is control of storage of data in clouds. Then seventh is ISO 27018. Code of practice for protection of personally identifiable information, PII, in public clouds, acting as PII processors, again controls for the data storage in cloud. That is the domain of Professor Pilli. He must have spoken. And in addition to the ISO standards, which are 7 standards controls, there are other internationally accepted standards also, which we just discussed. The second one is the PCI DSS, means the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards, which is a global form that brings together payment industry stakeholders to develop and derive adoption of data security standards and resources for safe payment worldwide. That is the purpose of this standard. Third is the SWIFT CSV. This is for the worldwide interbank financial telecommunications consumer security program, which provides a network that enables financial institutions worldwide to send and receive information about financial transactions in a secure, standardized, and reliable environment. SWIFT is linked with more than 11,000 financial institutions at present in more than 200 countries. Combating financial fraud is a challenge for the entire financial industry. SWIFT and its customers have to remain vigilant and proactive towards these financial frauds. While all customers are responsible for protecting their own environment, SWIFT has established the Customer Security Program, CSP, to support the customer to fight against the cyber attacks. Then next, fourth one is the COBIT, Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies. So this is a business framework for governance and the management of enterprise in IT. It can be used by corporations to assess their information security performance and to implement appropriate management practice covering their control environment and key anti-fraud processes. Then last, the fifth one is the ITIL. That is the Information Technology Infrastructure Library Framework. It is a framework consisting of best practices and processes that can be adopted to provide IT service management. That is ITSM. All these international cybersecurity control standards are quite technical in nature. But since you all are the technocrats, it is not difficult for those who are interested in the technical details of these standards may contact through either email or mobile phone or through any source. Or we can have some another session on the same platform as per the mutual time management. So Professor Govil is in touch with me and is in touch with you people also. So you can take the contact numbers and the contact details, or I'll send the contact details. So we can discuss on any day. Fortunately, one thing, as Professor Govil knows it, in my organization, the team is so strong. We have the 7 ISO certified lead auditors, officers, including me. So there is no problem. We can discuss. So if you summarize all that, it is a very boring and technical part, you see. But since we all are dealing in this, we all are dealing in the cloud and the data security and all that. And the society expects much more from us, that we'll protect the data, we will advise them. So it is very essential to know how to protect the data, and that too, about the legal mandate and what are the international standards. So just to, if you summarize, uh, the cyber security can be achieved through, number one, through the secure technology. Number two, we must know the legal mandate. What are the reasonable practices and procedures and policy, and following the international standardization. That is very important. And implementing the international controls of ISMS, ISO 27001-2013, or the controls under ISO 27002, or standards like OBIT or ITIL or cyber security framework. Regular exhaustive IT security audit of IT infrastructure will definitely help to protect the data, or the data protection or the cyber security. Let's say the computer system, computer network, switches, routers, firewalls, devices, servers, storage, and data centers, software, email, website, web applications, mobile applications. All these, they should be secured, and the vulnerability assessment, thorough vulnerability assessment and mapping of the vulnerability of the system and network penetration tests and exploitation of vulnerabilities in the system and network is a must. And compliance of non-conformities, NCs, find during the audit, this will also help to protect the data information. And second thing is the person. So a regular training, such type of awareness programs, or they are needed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Introduction, informative session. I hope participants also have really well aware now about different acts and how to maintain their legal documents and their policies, etc. So, sir, it is our great honor that you have spent some of your valuable times, and we have really enjoyed the sessions. And now I am asking participants, do you have any questions or query? So, sir is here. Participants, any query? Oh, so it's looks like that everything is clear to the participants. So, sir, I am very very thankful to you, sir, and I am also expecting this kind of session in near future also. And as our honorable director sir Gobil sir mentioned, that we are also going to conduct this kind of curriculum workshop on cyber security, as well as some kinds of short-term training. So this was the AICT funded faculty development program. Next, we are looking for the interaction with the students. So short-term training program for cyber security purposes, because as we understand, the cyber security is very essential, because everything is in now in virtual domain, and as the government of India is also focusing for several initiatives such as Digital India, etc., etc. So we must have to be sincere on this issue, and we are going to organize such events, and definitely we will be happy if you will spend your valuable time with us also. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and we will see you again in the induction program on or at 11 a.m.
Thank you very much. And thanks a lot to Director Sir.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
always available on his call.
I will convey, sir. I will convey. He is in meeting. He has the scheduled meeting from 3 p.m. onward. So that's why he leaves. I will convey it, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, participants, you may take 15 minutes break. The next session will be delivered by Professor Santosh Biswas from IIT Bhilai. You may take 15 minutes break, but join in time. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon to all. Is it visible and audible?
You are visible and audible.
Just let me share the slide once actually, and let us test it, then we'll see.
Okay, okay.
So is it visible actually?
It is visible, sir.
Okay. Then okay, fine.
It is visible. It is visible.
Okay.
Not an issue, sir. I have just at 3 p.m. One session just ends. So I have given participants 15 minutes break. So
No problem. No problem. It is just a testing.
They will join at 3:15 p.m.
Okay. This is just a testing. Yeah, no problem.
ना पठाए नहीं আমি So hello participants. Hello. I hope all of you are here.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For the second test session of this day, Professor Santosh Biswas is here. So let me introduce him. Professor Santosh Biswas, sir, welcome you on behalf of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Sikkim. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you, sir. Professor Biswas, sir, is now associated with Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science in Indian Institute of Technology, Bhilai. Earlier to here, he was an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Professor Biswas is an eminent academician and has more than 170 research papers. He has more than 20 years of teaching, research, and administrative experience. He has completed almost 15 R&D research projects funded by several government agencies, including Department of Science and Technology, Department of Electronics and IT, etc. He has also supervised more than 20 PhD students and 40 MTech students in the relevant area of cybersecurity, fault tolerance, VLSI design, etc. His current research interest includes cybersecurity, VLSI design, fault tolerance, embedded systems, and at present he achieves more than 1,200 citations cited by eminent scientists and researchers throughout the globe. Welcome you, sir. It is our great honor for being here and spending your valuable time with us. So now I request you, sir, please deliver your expert lecture on the topic intrusion detection system.
Okay, thank you, Sangram, and thank you all the participants to be here. So it's my pleasure that I can share my views on intrusion detection system in this fora. So although it would have been a more pleasure if it was a physical meeting and we could all have been in the same place, but due to this COVID, as you know, it's not possible. So what best we can get out of this technology is we can see the different parts of the country and parts of the world and still hold this workshop. So anyway, so let me share my screen. So although it's not a physical meeting, but we assume that all of us are together.
Yes, definitely, sir, definitely.
Okay. Okay, what I will do is basically I will have a small discussion on intrusion detection system, and as I see many of the faculty members are also present in this talk, so I will also give some directions of what is not possible in present intrusion detection system, so that it may help all the faculty members in some of the research initiatives as well. So as you can see the topic, it is event-based intrusion detection system. So it is a specialized kind of system for detecting attacks, and you will also be looking at why such systems have evolved and what are the challenges in the intrusion detection. So I always generally start with a very famous slide on basically about the cyber security. So in internet, is facilitating a lot of activities like this workshop as we can do even in the COVID times. But you not know whether the slide is saying that on the internet nobody knows that you are a dog. It's a very famous saying long before the internet was in prevalence. And as also you can see, I mean, you just know that I am speaking, but whether I am speaking in a what do I say, in a live manner or whether it's a video recording, it may be very difficult to find. So you do not know whether a person is impersonalizing, there's a spoofing. And in the current day, one most important cyber security trend will be spoofing or basically or malicious intentions in all these kinds of online interactive interactions using the internet. This is a very huge cyber security problem that is going to come if such paradigms are not properly secured with. But anyway, that is a perspective that is coming in the pandemic time. But otherwise, I mean, whoever you are, whatever you are, is very difficult to figure out in the internet. Also, of course, a lot of cybersecurity tools that will find out person's identity, but still it is a very difficult way of handling this situation. So what is basically information security? Like people used to say that if you go to a bank and you physically steal out the money over there, that involves a lot of risks, that involves a lot of, infrastructure. You have to have a lot of kind of arms, ammunitions, etc. But stealing a digital information is easier. You just require intelligence. You need to just hack into the servers and get the data out of it, which you may be doing from one country to another. And as you know that there are different laws in different countries. So at many points of time, you may actually, or the person may do some kind of cyber crimes and still not be caught. So this stealing information, stealing data is become a much more predominant phenomena compared to physical stealing of documents and currency notes. So therefore now information is asset. So now nowadays you can even say that digital asset or digital data is more important than the physical assets or physical currency note. So therefore, what is information security? Information security is a process by which digital informations are protected. That is fine. But you please pay attention on the word called asset. Now all data are assets. So nowadays big data sets are sold for multi-million dollars. Like the medicine trend of a country, what is the pandemic trend of the world, what is the type of climatic conditions. So all these digital databases are extremely expensive in the nature. And as you know, nowadays physical currencies may be going and slowly we are into digital currency. So whenever we call digital currency, it is nothing but data. To protect all this data, there are different components called intrusion detection system, there is IDS, there is something called IPS, there is something called a firewall. So in firewall, basically you write some kind of regulations and some kind of a regular expression. So such types of websites are blocked. Then there is something called antivirus. As you know that they actually look for, malicious codes in your program, in your PC. There is cryptographic tools, there is encryption, there is decryption, then there is something called digital signatures. Hundreds of different types of tools are available which actually protects your digital information. So in this lecture, we are mainly going to see what is called intrusion detection system and what are the challenges therein and how basically we are trying to solve those challenges. So that is our perspective in the next 1 hour. So if you look at the intrusion or the network security, there are three very important security goals. So one is confidentiality, one is integrity, and one is availability or permanence. So what do you mean by confidentiality? Confidentiality means if I send one data from one part of the network to the other part, nobody should be able to read and interpret it. So one very secure way of doing is the encryption. So whatever data you send, you encrypt by a private key. In case of a PKI, or if it's a symmetric key, then you use symmetric keys to secure your data. And on the other side, if somebody even eavesdrop your data, you need to have a private key to decrypt it. And breaking cryptographic keys nowadays is a very difficult task because of the availability of high computes. You can encrypt at 1024 bits of keys and 2048 bit keys, and there are a lot of complicated algorithms like Grindal, Diffie-Hellman are available, which are very, very difficult to break through. So therefore, confidentiality, although may be compromised, but it's a very difficult goal to do that. Then there's something called integrity. That the data is not confidential, but if somebody changes the data, you should be able to know this. So there is some techniques called digital hash. So you send information with a hash connected to that. Now, if somebody changes your data in between, if there's some kind of a cryptographic technique, you will be find out that the data has been tampered with, like a check. So if you send a check from one end to another, so the check is an open document, but it is signed by an individual which has its integrity. The data has not been changed. so that you say that I am paying, or I am sending an email, or I am sending some documents over one part of the network to the other, and it shouldn't be tampered. So if this tampered or some misinformation is being sent, that can also create a lot of confusions and problems. So in that case, you can say that it's an integrity issue. And integrity basically can be prevented by using something called a digital signature. And again, altering a digital signature is very similar to break open in cryptography. The third one is the most important one, and all people target that one, that is called availability or permanence. That is, data is there. I'm neither going to take the confidentiality out of it, I'm not going to change the integrity out of it. Rather, what I will try to do is a very simple thing. I will make the data unavailable to everybody. That is actually called denial of service. And that is one of the most easiest to do and most difficult to prevent. Like for example, if you have a server in which you are actually uploading the airline ticketing software, so people are booking the tickets. Now you can write a malware and you can try to book and cancel hundreds and millions of tickets in an hour. So what is going to happen is that this server is going to come down. That is actually called bombarding with requests. So, and for example, there is a web server which is actually hosting your so-called your email services. Now, what actually this was a hack which has been prevented long back. So in that case, what people used to do, there used to be a long back, there used to be an email service called Pine. I don't think you people might have used it, but the story is very interesting. So what the people have done, there is something called dot forwarding that even today is there. If you say write a message saying that I will be in vacation from this day to this date, and basically if you send a mail to that ID, you will just get an automatic response saying that so and so is on leave, and you can contact him after 7 days. Now, this type of attack was very simple. There is a person called X and there is a person called Y. You just set both of them with auto response reply. So person A will send a mail to Y saying that how are you? A will be replied by B saying that I am available, not available for 7 days. Please contact me after that. B will send the mail to A. A will again have an automatic response. Now, there is a group of automatic responses which can be start sending from one place to another, and there will be a bombarding effect. So just like a nuclear reaction. You send a message from A to B, okay, and the automatic reply will again come from B to A, and you can just trigger 2-3 such mail initiations and the entire mailbox will be choked. Now, there are different ways of preventing that. So what I mean to say is that very easily you can prevent the data sets to be, or the data or the server to be available to others. Even some examples are in the examination result declaration. So in the examination declaration time, you see there is always a CAPTCHA, or many times there is a CAPTCHA. So unless you fill the CAPTCHA, you cannot send the query to the database or to the server. Why is it? Because if there is no CAPTCHA, I can write a script and I can ask for millions of data to be processed or serviced within a second. And the server will be compromised, there will be huge load in the server, and after that the server will start responding. So therefore, the availability or preventing the availability is called denial of service, and it is the most easiest way to do. You just give some arbitrary, unnecessary junk jobs to the computer to do, and it cannot serve the original and the important jobs. So therefore, it is actually called denial of service or compromise in availability. Compromise in confidentiality, compromise in integrity, the other two factors are very difficult to achieve. So therefore, hackers always try the third place, that is called the availability. So now in the figure, so this is a normal flow, data from the information to the destination flows. If I say an interruption, the data is interrupted. So I mean, this is the most easiest way to do. Nobody actually goes and cuts out the physical cable. Rather, what they do, actually bombard this information server with so much garbage data, the garbage query, that the data cannot be processed and no data reaches over there. That is actually called interruption, and is the easiest way to attack or launch the attack, but it's very difficult to prevent, because I mean there can be a real case, like for example a server is there when the examination results of class 10 or class 12 for JEE are declared, to be huge data. That is a genuine situation. But if it happens on an unimportant day or a normal Saturday or Sunday, then this may be an attack. So exactly finding out the cause is a very difficult situation, very difficult paradigm. So launching of the attack is easy, but detection is very difficult. Then there is something called on confidentiality. You get the data, you get the data. That is simple. Many times you can eavesdrop the data, but the problem is that to find out what is available in the data or to interpret it, you require to break the security keys. And as I told you, breaking the security keys is a very, very difficult paradigm, because nowadays cryptography standards are pretty good. If you are using 2048 bits of keys, it's almost impossible, or it takes hours and days and years to break the keys. So therefore, good cryptographic algorithms, such type of attacks are difficult. Then there is something called integrity. You take the data, change the data, and send it. And there is another technique which is very similar to cryptography, that is a digital hash. So if you change any data, you can easily catch that. So integrity change is also a very difficult paradigm. Although these are there, but that is why for an attacker, they generally target basically what we call as the denial of service or availability based attack. And this is a very interesting slide. Although the data is up to 2000, I mean, much more interesting things have come over the next 20 years. So what it shows is that previously, like 1980s, if you want to launch an attack, you should have a lot of knowledge about the system. Attack sophistication was low. Okay, but you need to have a very, very high amount of knowledge to attack. And attacks were very simple, like password guessing, self-replicating, password cracking, etc. But with the slow time, really what is happening, attacks are becoming extremely complicated. Like you can see distributed denial of service, WWW attacks, site scripting. And if I take you to 2020, you can find out that the ransomware attacks are there, cache attacks are there, more sophisticated attacks are there. But interesting point is that if you see the green line, the knowledge of the attacker secret are coming down. Why? Because there are a lot of forums available, there are a lot of tools available over in the internet. Just you sit for 2 or 3 days with some knowledge, you'll be able to launch the attacks. But that was not the possibility in 1980s to 1990s, when internet was not very predominant. So nowadays, the attacks, new attacks are very difficult. Of course, if I say that you have to find out a new attack, then you require to be a real system engineer to launch such attacks. But if I say that just you take 3 or 4 attacks, maybe slightly fine-tune them and launch it, it is quite easy. Why? Because lots of tools and lot of tools and lot of software are already available in the hacker forum, and you can use it. And there's a third angle. That most of us are using pirated softwares, or even if you are not using pirated software, if you are using genuine copies, still you do not update our machines regularly, and therefore do not have the patches, and the attacker just can find out that, okay, he has not updated Windows for the last 7 days or last 1 month. So therefore, a lot of vulnerabilities everybody knows, so you can easily launch the attacks for them. The attacks are not new. You have to note that. The attacks are not new. Only thing is that you know the attacks because Microsoft have told that these are some of the open vulnerabilities that were present, and everybody should download the patches and make it ready. So you should update your Windows, you should update your Windows server, you should update your mail servers regularly. Even you have to update your what you call intrusion detection system dataset. Every time you have to update, keep your system updated. If you are not keeping it updated, that means you are having a lot of vulnerabilities which are very well known. Just the attacker needs to fingerprint your device and launch the attack. So therefore, nowadays attacks are becoming very easy, not because the attackers are finding out newer attacks. Rather, they are taking a lot of help from the internet using these known attacks, and most of us are not updating our computer software regularly, and therefore attacks are becoming a very easy phenomenon. So now what is an intrusion? Intrusion very easily can set a set of actions which can compromise either integrity, confidentiality, or availability of a computing system. As I told you, availability is the easiest way to compromise. And what is intrusion detection? Intrusion detection is something like you detect that activity. Now, many people ask me a question, why intrusion detection? Intrusion detection is a very well-known term in security. But intrusion prevention is not that much well accepted. Why is it so? Because the idea is that intrusion prevention means basically you have to stop the source of attack. Like for example, you can find out that a lot of packets are coming from one IP address, which is causing my server to getting bombarded. So what I will do, I will prevent all packets coming from that IP address. Now, what happens is basically the attacker generally does not use his own IP address. It uses IP address spoofing. Then it will send some packets from an IP address which will be belonging to some genuine person in some other country. Now, if you block the IP address, then the genuine person gets suffering. So therefore, some attacks can be, if you're using an intrusion prevention, so what happens is that you are stopping the attack, it is fine. But at the same time, it can also indirectly launch an attack to some other person. Like for example, as I told you, for example, if you see that one IP address is generating a lot of compromised packets, you block the IP address. But that IP address is spoofed because the attacker is not launching attacks from his or her IP address. So that will lead to what? That will lead to stopping or blocking of a genuine user. So that means basically your intrusion prevention system can many times lead to attack themselves. So therefore, what mostly we do is that we try to find out when there is an intrusion or when there is an attack, and then the system administrator immediately comes and plays a role and find out what needs to be done. Of course, this is not very much true from the banking sector, because in banking sector, etc., the intrusion rules are more stringent. But what I am talking is in a general case, like an academic institute, like an email service. Okay, and there are all daily uses, like like a you to you watching movies and all. So whenever you is an attack, so for the sometimes the service may be down, but it is not leading to any kind of a financial loss. So rather just you spend some minutes or some hours to find out from where the intrusions have happened and take a manual discussion, a manual intervention. That is why intrusion detection is very, very important rather than prevention. Prevention is a more sophisticated technique, and just like you see, we can give you a very simple example. If you make 3 times a password mistake in case of a SBI.com or any kind of banking system, your login or your banking software gets locked. You have to go to the bank and get it actually renewed. So you can understand that it may be a genuine person. By chance, he might have made a mistake. But if it's an email, if you make 3 times or 4 times your password mistake, then for some amount of time, network will be blocked. And after that, you can again reuse your email addresses. So it is some kind of intrusion detection, and there is no action taken. The action is very simple, like we just trying to find out what is happening. And if you do it multiple times, maybe 10 times, 14 times, then there may be some telephone may come and saying that your email has been hacked, you are getting a mail from somewhere and saying that you might see you have logged in from other computer, please take action and all. But it's intrusion detection. They're finding out that some other device has logged into your account, you're making 3 or 4 times password mistake, and they're sending you a mail to take the action. That is called action, intrusion detection, intrusion detection, and you have to take the action. But in case of a bank, if you make 3 times mistake of your password, the system is locked. So if the attacker, it is very fine. But if you are yourself making a mistake almost 3 times by mistake, then basically you are locked, and then you have to go to the bank and get everything verified and restarted. So therefore, intrusion detection is very, very important and applied in most of the practical cases. Intrusion prevention, that is whenever you find a suspicion of an attack, block it, stop it, blacklist it, actually happening in the financial sector. Okay, so therefore intrusion detection system is mostly used terminology, and there are 2 types of intrusion detection. One is called the computer host based, and another called the network based. So computer based generally is something like which happens inside your computer. Generally, I mean, there may be a malware in the system, there may be some kind of a virus which is running in the system. Any type of software or intrusion detection system is deployed to your computer is called intrusion detection system at the host level. Most important at the network level, because whenever you talk of attacks, generally they come in the network. So they are not at all related to your particular computer. They are related to the entire set of computers or entire set of servers at an institute at large. So therefore, intrusion detection systems or attacks generally come over for an entire cluster or an entire subnet, and therefore you have to observe the traffic at the layer at the gateway or the core switch, and you have to prevent that. So therefore, network-based intrusion detection systems are very, very important, and we'll be mainly focusing on that. Rather than targeting a single host, they target the entire set of so-called subnets. Okay. Now, these are very important things. So one type of classification of IDSS is where it is deployed. One is the host and one is the network. Generally, you work at the network level because attacks generally come from the network, and it is for the entire subset of systems. Another set of classification is how do you detect. One is called the signature based and one is called the statistics. We'll see one by one. So what is signature based? It is something like software was there, people knew about the vulnerabilities, attacker launched the attacks are successful, there was some loss in the community. After that, you send a patch. So what is a patch? Patch is nothing but you always try to see the network traffic and see if any such kind of a pattern is coming in the internet, just block it or just raise an alarm. Now, why is it possible, or why do you think a person will relaunch a known attack? An attack has been found, the company has patched the attack or patched the software, like for example, Windows XP. A long time back, there was a copy paste bug. So if the attack is lost, you cannot copy and paste. Control-C, Control-V doesn't work. Then there's a patch, you can download the patch, and after that, the attack can no longer be launched. Okay, but then they used to put a signature. If such kind of network packet is coming, which if you install, the Windows is or the Microsoft Word will be having that attack, then you can just say this is the signature or this is the pattern which is coming from the internet. If that pattern is found in the traffic, and if that traffic is into your computer or into your system, your Microsoft Windows or Microsoft Word will not function properly. So you raise an alert. See, such type of traffic is coming in the internet, which can make your Windows, or sorry, your Word not work properly. And whenever such comes, you raise an alert. Now the question is very curious that if such a thing is well known, then why would attackers launch a known attack? Again, the answer is more than 99.9% of the attacks are based on known attacks, because 99.9% of the people are either not using a proper genuine Windows version or they are not updating properly. Because even before 3 to 4 years, even if somebody had a licensed version of Windows, they would not update it regularly because the internet was very expensive. Only after the coming of Geo and all, network has become cheaper. So therefore, most of the time, all our Windows machines or any type of servers were not regularly updated. So therefore, finding out a new attack is a very difficult phenomenon. But what is more and more difficult is using a known attack, find out which machine is not patched. Mostly will find out that 99.9% of the systems are not patched. Go and attack them. So therefore, what people used to do then, you cannot force each and every person in an entire institute of like NIT, any of the NITs, even of the NITs and IITs, where there's a lot of capability of manpower, you cannot force every people to get your systems updated regularly. Rather, what they will put an intrusion detection system in the switch. If it finds out that some type of traffic is coming, whose syntax matches to an attack, just stop it over there. Okay. So therefore, the most easiest way of handling attacks is a signature. So you just put signatures of all the known attacks, and if such type of patterns are found in the air, just block it or raise an alarm. So now let us take an example that is better. You can see there was a very simple attack which was used to call the land attack. In which case, if you see, they used to send the same source IP and the destination IP of a packet. You send a packet in the network with same source IP and destination IP. They will be revolving around and around and around. There will be a lot of traffic in the network and everything will be patched. So they made a signature like that. Alert IP any to any. That means this any and any are same. So there is some IP alert starts and end are same. That is actually called bad traffic, and it is called same source and destination. This is the grammar for that. And I am not going into that. There is a intrusion detection system called SNOT. So whenever you give such a rule, alert IP any to any. That means if any of the source IP is same as destination IP, it is that language of the intrusion detection system. So if any packet comes with same source and IP address same, it will actually generate an alert, and it will say a CV 1990 and something is there. So what does it say? It says that basically this was the attack which was found in 1999, and its reference number is 1999.04 something, and it is actually called a land attack. So land attack is defined once, and if you give the same source IP and same destination IP, there will be a lot of problems. Now you can always update your system. You can always update your Cisco switches so that such type of packets, whenever is generated, you can block their use. But again, as I told you, most of the time we may not be doing that, and attackers actually take that loophole that 99.9% of the cases people have not updated their system. They can very easily launch such attacks and get your systems compromised. Now, and that is again I told you that you cannot ask in an NIT or an IIT where there is hundreds and thousands of students having some 10,000 of machines inside this is in campus, to ask everybody to always update their system. That is not possible. So what people do is that they put such type of rules in the gateway server itself. So whenever you find such packets are coming from the gateway, you stop it there itself. So the attacks can be prevented. Okay. So if you see, for example, if source IP equal to destination IP, then it's a land attack. So this is the rule. Okay. Now what about all these things? So most of the cases, 99.9% of the cases can be handled by something which is called the signature-based intrusion detection system. The reason again I am repeating because it is very important that attacks are known. Then people, all the research community or all the hackers community know that such an attack was there in the network, and people have patched it, companies have patched it, and this was the attack, and this is the patch. But at the same time, they also know that because of several limitations, like lack of knowledge, lack of cybersecurity knowledge, lack of expertise of manpower, even lack of money because of proper pirated software available on the internet, most of the things may not be actually patched in a proper manner. So therefore, it may be easy, or there may, even if the attacks are known, lot of places such attacks can be possible because they are kept vulnerable. So they try to attack, use this known attacks and attacks all the places, all such places, because it is very, very difficult to find out an unknown attack or a new attack. But it's not always the case. Once in a blue moon, people find out a new attack, and then there is a huge hux and chaos that you cannot stop, and everything is gone. And that, like for example, you know about the ransomware. Even there is no patch as such for a ransomware attacks, or there may be some work that has come up. They encrypt the entire hard disk of the servers, and they ask huge amount of money, basically from Bitcoin or some kind of a digital currency, and then they give the password to unlock your hard disks. So therefore, it is nothing but a denial of service. You have huge amount of data and records inside your database server, and 1.1 you cannot access them. So it's a denial of service. The hacker is not stealing your data, just you are not able to access that, and then they are asking for huge amount of money. And that is a new attack. So new attack comes once in a while. Then how to detect that? Signatures, of course, can never be developed for that, because signatures are for known attacks, whatever you know about them. Then there is a specialized way which is called anomaly intrusion detection. So what is an anomaly intrusion detection? Anomaly is actually based on statistics. So I'll take an example. Like if you look at it, generally in a weekdays or something, you see your CPU usage is around 20%, process size is something, and some parameters are very, very well. But if you see an abnormal perspective, then you may assume that some problem might have happened. So therefore, people use some kind of a statistical models like clustering, classification, all kind of AI ML based ideas to cluster and classify that what is a normal phenomena and what is the abnormal phenomena. So in an institute, they may be collecting the data at different servers for hours and days, and they make clusters. So the larger clusters correspond to normal activity. And whenever they find out some kind of a which is not belonging to any of the clusters, they are flagged as abnormal situation, just like this. This is just like this. Okay, there is some, all the blue lines sometimes showing some abnormal phenomena. Then they may be kindly targeted. So it is not about by knowing whether it's an attack or a not attack. They will just look at system parameters, CPU size, process size, response time, battery usage, and so many other things. You sent an email, how many responses are coming, how many mistakes you have done in sending a so-called your email address, how many times you made a mistake in logging in. So all those parameters will be measured, and there are statistical findings they gather, and then to find out whether some abnormal activity is going on. Then it is very easy to understand that even if the attack is new or somebody has launched a novel attack, still it can be found out by such kind of statistical means. But there is one huge problem of something called false alarms, because as there is based on statistics, so you have to know that this area is the area of normal. But what do you say about a point which is just outside this? Okay, so it may be an attack, it may not be an attack, because it's quite near to this larger cluster. So you have to put a threshold. And if you are making slightly mistake in the threshold, there is a lot of false alarm. So false alarm means, if you say, for example, you have a point over here, which is very near, you may try to say it is a normal only because very near, but it may be turning out to be an attack. That is actually called a false negative. And you cannot catch an attack. There is something called a false positive. For example, if you have some node, some packet over here, and you are trying to say it as a normal, as an attack. Maybe you are saying that, okay, it is not very near, but maybe at least at some point of time over here, you declare it is an attack. But later you find out it's not an attack. This is kind of false positive, unless that you are declaring something as an attack. A lot of issues that come in, because whenever you are using statistics, many of points of time, thresholds cannot be defined very precisely. But till date, they are all such kind of attacks are only based on the facts that basically they are on two types, either they are statistics based or they are signature based. But one important thing is that most of the time people are working on signature based, and anomaly based intrusion detection system is mostly in the research paradigm, because doing machine learning, you need your data sets. Okay, and your data sets, you have to give me the data sets for both attack as well as normal data sets. Now you can understand no bank or no industry will give attack data sets, because normal data set people may give you. Still, after making some kind of anonymization, they can give you. But attack data set, if for example the State Bank or DRDO gives you, then I mean there's a huge chaos. And you know how the system was, what are the vulnerabilities, what are the weak points, everything will be open to the community. So therefore, attack data set getting is a very, very difficult problem. Nobody will give it. It is something like you are giving the whole issues or whole, I mean, all the weak points of your system to the community. That is not possible. Nobody will give them. So therefore, real, I mean, finding out statistical models to detect attacks in the statistical mode is very, very difficult. In the practical domain, people only use what I told you as the signature-based and anomaly-based intrusion detection systems are still in the research paradigm. But again, what I want to specify is that there's another very interesting kind of an attack, which are called actually the stealthy attacks. So stealthy attacks are the attacks for which signatures also cannot be generated, because those attacks do not change any syntax. Like for example, same source IP, same destination IP. So a simple kind of syntax is also not done. At the same time, they do not change any kind of a statistics definition. There's no deviation in statistics, like huge number of packets, huge CPU users, nothing. But still an attack is not. So these are very new class of attacks which are called your stealthy attacks. And for that, we require a very interesting detection mechanism which is called the event-based detection and how it works. So quickly, I will give you an example that how what are such type of attacks and all those things. And it's a very interesting to find that such attacks are so simple and so difficult to detect. Okay, so we'll take an example which is called the ARP, that is Address Resolution Protocol. So nowadays there's the IPv6 version which is called the NDP, but still ARP is also used in most of the cases because we are using IPv4. So you know that, I mean, whenever you want to use a computer, ARP, that is your MAC address, has to be connected to your IP address. IP address is the global address, and whenever you talk of a address at the layer 2, is actually your MAC address, that is hardware address. So whenever a packet is sent from here to, say, for example, in the US, it will go from here to the US at the IP address, but whenever it will reach the layer 3 switch in that institute, it has to come to the MAC address. So a proper binding of the IP and MAC address has to be up there. Like I am taking an example over here. For example, if IP address of 1, you can see that I have given some names. So this is the IP address and this is the MAC address. So this guy wants to send a packet to 2. So everybody knows what are the IP addresses, but nobody knows what are the MAC addresses. And you have to know one thing: all systems are MAC address unique. I mean, there are a lot of regulations is there. There is no two hard machines can have same MAC address. I mean, if you just discard what is said about your basically Chinese cards, some Chinese cards are available in which you can again program your MAC address, but it is illegal. So therefore, everybody knows what are the IP address of everybody. If you do not know, you can use the DNS server. So he is asking the question, who has IP address of 2? I want to send a packet. But it cannot directly send to IP 2. So it will ask all the computers, please tell who has IP address of 2. And this is the genuine guy who will reply that, okay, I am having IP address 2 and this is my MAC address. So what will happen is that, so this guy, machine 1, will update its ARP table or ARP cache with IP2 and MAC2. Now, next time when it was to send some packet to IP2, it will not ask any question, whether it will directly send it to MAC2. That is what is simple ARP. But now there is a lot of issues over ARP. I should not find issues because ARP has to work in the level of gigahertz, gigs of packs, 10 gigabits LAN, 1 gig LAN. Nowadays 40 GB LANs are coming up. So ARP cannot verify all those things. Whether I have asked this guy, whether only this guy has replied or 2 other guys have replied, whether I have asked any question at all, it is not going to check anything. That is actually called statefulness. So ARP does not have any stateful attitude. It just, whenever it gets a response of a mapping of IP address to MAC, it just takes it. Many people have asked it, can we make it robust? You can do that. You can make it encrypted, you can make it signed, to have non-compromise, that is what you call integrity can be maintained, but all that will make ARP very, very slow because ARP has to work in the level of gig, and ARP is about the level of 40 gigabits per second nowadays. So all these very high checks cannot be put in. So therefore it will be very, very simple, and that is actually a vulnerability. Now what is the vulnerability? I'll tell you, and let me not go over there. Yeah. So I'll take one by one attacks. So what can happen is that this guy just sends a reply to this machine that IP address of 3, somebody else's IP address of 3 is associated. This is the attacker. Its IP is 2 and its hardware address is 2. This is the IP address and this is the MAC address. The attacker is sending a packet to a victim, this machine. He is saying that IP address of 3 is associated with my MAC address. Then with IP address 3, somebody is here. So there is some machine over here whose IP is 3. 3 means I am not writing the entire, this thing is 3, and its MAC address is also, I am giving the example. But it is saying that IP address of this machine is associated with MAC address of this one. They have make a wrong association. I just reply to that. Because as I told you, the ARP is never ever going to check all this. There is no time. Then ARP will become a very, very slow phenomenon. So now what happened is basically, once it is already embedded here, now if this victim wants to send a packet to 3, what it will do, it will not ask any question because it already knows it's an entry. And it is saying that it is 2. So where is 2? 2 MAC addresses over here. So now this victim is not going to send any packet to this guy. It will just send the packet from this MAC address to this guy. So therefore, what data from 1, from this one was to go to 3 is actually going to 2 because this attacker has made a wrong entry in this. Now what the attacker can do, the attacker can poison everybody's caches, saying that whatever be the IP address, you associate this MAC address. Then whenever any packet goes to anywhere, it will be sent to the attacker. As simple as that. So attacker is actually becoming a black hole. It is taking everybody's packet and not sending any. So it becomes a black hole kind of an attack. Now I will tell you why the stealthy attack I will come. Let me see one more attack and then I will again come back to that. Now this is actually called man in the middle. So what thing can happen is that if you eat up everybody's packets, then there may be a suspicion that may arise in the IDS. Because IDS will find that nobody is getting the packet, there is a problem, go and check it. So what people do is that they do something called man in the middle. So what they will do, so you can just see the attacker is saying that IP address of 3, this guy's IP address is associated with MAC address of 1. So this is the MAC address of the attacker. It wants to attach everybody with this hardware address so that all the packets will actually be coming to it. So it is saying that IP address of 3 is associated with MAC of 1, and here it is saying the IP address of 2 again is associated with MAC of 1. So whenever this guy wants to send any packet to say IP 2, this guy, okay, what it will do is that it will just send it to 1 as it is written over here as 1, it will be just sending it. And again, say for example, this machine that is IP of 2 has to send anything to this guy to 3, it will not search anywhere. It will just see this at 1 is written over here, so all data will be coming over here. Now, what the attacker will do, the attacker will not hold the data, it will read data or whatever it want to do, and then again, whenever the data comes from here, it will again sending it to here, and whatever data is capturing from here to here, it will again redirect to here. So in that case, everybody will be finding the packets, but everything will be actually going through the attacker. So it makes a man in the middle. So it's more sophisticated. I'm not going into that. Rather, I'll tell you what is basically why it was stealthy attack. Now, this is another very interesting thing. So in this case, you see, this is an attacker. So what it can tell that I have an IP address of 3 and my MAC address is something arbitrary which is no longer existing anywhere. So that it is actually sending it to this guy. Okay, and then this is a machine with IP address 3. This is a genuine guy whose IP address was 3 and MAC address also 3, I'm assuming. But the attacker is sending a packet over here saying IP address of 3 is connected to some arbitrary MAC address. Now, when this victim wants to send a packet to 3, it will not ask anybody that what is the MAC address because it already knows the MAC address, which is wrong. It's some arbitrary place. So this one will send the packet to some arbitrary place where it is lost. It will roaming and lost. So the attack victim can never send any packet to IP of 3. Now, if the attacker can play in such a way, it can poison everybody's cache with IP address of 3 and MAC address unknown. Then nobody will be able to send any packet to 3 and 3 will be actually getting disconnected of the entire network. So this is actually called anti-denial of service for attack number, for machine number. Machine number 3 will be just hanging around, getting nobody's traffic. Okay, so anyway, I mean, yeah, this is the kind of an attack. Now, I will actually tell you before showing something, I'll just tell you why is this attack a stealthy attack. That is very, very important. Why you cannot detect anything. Let me just explain this. Yes. Now this is very, very important. Now what happened is that you can see this is an IP address of 2, this is a MAC address of 2. Nowadays what happened is that nowadays everybody using something called a dynamic IP address. Then IP address put, which is 1, 2, dot, dot, dot. So I said 10, up to 10 IP addresses are there. So whenever a new person comes in, they are given an IP address. That is assigned randomly. So 1 may come, 2, 3, and then again 1 may leave the situation because they're all mainly they are wirelessly connected. So again 1 will be reassigned to everybody, to anybody. So what happened is that this IP address can be reused and they can be assigned to everybody. Now you see, for example, this IP of 2 at a given point of time, IP address 2 is used by the machine with MAC address 2 because MAC address is the identity. It is using an IP address 2. After some time, what may happen is that this guy may go out. I am not talking about attack situation, normal situation. This guy might have switched on the machine and it has switched off the machine and he has boarded the aircraft. Okay, now 2 addresses basically become a free. 2 addresses becoming a free address. Okay, after some time, he has come over there, roamed around and he can come back. Now what can happen is the 2 might be using by some other guy. His MAC may be 7. Because when he has switched off the machine and he has gone, new person has come whose MAC address was 7 and as 2 was available, it has been given to him. Now what can happen is that, now after that, this guy again come back. Sorry, this guy has again come back. So when this guy has come back, the IP address of 2 is no longer available. It has been given to MAC 7. So what will happen? Maybe 3 is available at that point of time. So the 3 will be assigned to him. And at that time it is true. It will say to everybody that if somebody says that I want to send a packet to 3, it will reply this. IP of 3 is assigned with MAC of 2. Then it's actually a correct situation. Now 2 has gone, it has gone, switched off the machine with MAC 2. Whenever it has come, 2 was being used by somebody else's and IP address of, this MAC address of 7 has been given to 2 has been given to a person with MAC 7. And whenever this old person has come back, IP address of 2 is already used by the MAC 7 guy. So it is given a new IP address which is 3. So as IP address is always changeable, so most of the time it may not be an attack. But if somebody is maliciously doing it, in that case it is an attack. So therefore we call it as a stealthy attack. You do not know when is an attack and when it is not an attack. You do not have any idea on that. And it is extremely difficult to detect such type of stealthy attacks. So, it's a very open problem how to solve it. So, at this point of time, I do not have any, it's an open research problem. So, I don't want to spend time on the solution, but I just give you a problem and I just show you how easy it is to make such an attack, even using a tool called CAP. It is a tool which launches all these attacks. ARP attack is a very well-known attack. Patches are available, but if you launch this attack in your system, you will find that most people have not patched it, and the attacks can be launched. Like, for example, if you are saying ARP minus, this is my configuration. If you say ARP minus B, so all your ARP entries will be lost. And then if you say ARP minus A, there will be no ARPs. Now what you do is that you make a simple ping. Okay, I am pinging 202.141.80.8. Immediately after that, if you say ARP A, you will find out that 202, this one, is associated with a physical address of this one that is available in your ARP cache. Now, why it has happened? Before that, you have erased all the ARP entries in your system. You have deleted all the ARP. Now you are making no entries available. Now you are sending a packet from IP2 from your machine to basically to a machine where the IP address of 15 was there. You are sending a packet. So this packet will not be sent just like that. What will happen? It will ask, please send the MAC address of 15. So the MAC address of 15 is 19 basically. So that will be first entered into the ARP cache and then you will be able to send it. So in that case, again, if you are doing ARP A, you will just find out that this case is available. Therefore, this is the ARP. So whenever you have to send a packet to some unknown guy by the IP address, first the MAC address value has to come in. That's what I have displayed. Now, there is a tool called so anyway, this is the same thing. So now, yeah. So this is basically a very interesting tool called EtherCap. So in EtherCap, what can happen is that you can launch ARP attacks. And again, this is a very well-known tool, maybe available in last 20-25 years. And you try in 80% to 90% cases, you will find that the attack is launched and launchable. Because we have not passed these attacks. So in this case, what happened is that you have to just launch this attack. So you have to take you want to launch a denial of service. You have to find out 2 IP addresses, and automatically it will place your system in between. With the MAC, your MAC address will be assigned to multiple IP addresses. So whenever packets are going from here to there, it will all come back to my machine because I am associating my MAC address to multiple IP addresses. So what is that? You are choosing this as one of the victims. So it will show you this is the system and its MAC address is this. You take another IP address where you want to launch the attack kind of a thing. You are saying this. You select this. Again, it is going to tell you that this is the MAC address of this. Now, what will happen is that if you launch this attack, for most of the cases like .1, .138, everybody will be associated with my MAC address. So whenever anybody wants to send any packet to .1 or .138, they will be reaching to me. After that, I can again transmit the packets back to 138 and 131. So there will be a middle or denial of service attack. You just have to select these 2 attacks, and you can see so many attacks are possible. Deselect IDs, ARP poisoning, IP-based sniffing, MAC, delete, run a program, OS fingerprinting. Different types of attacks are possible in EtherCap. And now these are very old version of EtherCap. Modern version of EtherCaps will have hundreds and more types of attacks. And these are all very well-known attacks. Okay, they are not unknown attacks. And as they are well-known attacks, there is a slight issue with it. Your system should not have the patching done. And you will find that 99.9% of the cases, things are not patched, so your attacks will be successful. So anyway, I have selected the other one also. So these 2 ports I have selected. This is source and this destination. I have selected these 2 cases. And then I just say that you launch this attack. Now what is going to happen is an interesting phenomena will be observed, that you can see this IP address, this MAC address and this MAC address are same. And my machine MAC address was basically IP address was 10. I'm just saying one thing I forgot to tell you, that I'm launching an attack on 1 and I'm launching an attack on 138. My machine's IP address is basically 3. So with everybody, I will try to connect my MAC address. You can see this 10, this is my genuine MAC address. Okay, and this is now getting connected to 138. So if anybody wants to send any packet to 138, this one will be actually connected to my MAC address and all data will be coming over here. So it's automatically done. You just need not do any type of poisoning and all. Just to select how many IP addresses you want to select, take this and your drawing is done, and basically you can just access all the packets over there. Just find out if there is a user or some kind of packet is going on, and then from 131, from 1 to 1 to 138, if you can see a packet is on, you can send all the packets over here. And actually you are 10, you are sitting. You can get all the packets out of that. Okay, so here is actually a stealthy attack, and what important part was about the stealthy attack, that sometimes it can be a normal condition and sometimes it can be an abnormal condition as well. And not much solutions are known how to prevent or detect such attacks. It's a very open problem, and a lot of research works, everything is going on. So I just keep it an open problem that people can look over it and read over it. And it's a small talk on 1 hour, so I cannot go into much more details, but I just gave you an idea on that. And then I would like to stop here to have a 4-5 minutes discussion before we end. Okay, so that is all from my side. Thank you. So if you have any points to discuss or ask, we can have a 4-5 minutes quick discussion.
Any queries from participants? Hello. Any queries from participants? You should grasp this opportunity. Okay, thank you, sir. I guess the participants are satisfied and
Thank you.
everything is clear to them. So, sir, thank you for your this interactive and technical session. And I hope that the participants will enhance their technical skills also and will apply as whatever you have shown here using your practical knowledge. Thank you very much, sir, for spending your
Same here, same here. Thank you. And I would
time
invite
here.
all of you here when the things will be better.
And I also looking for sir further more sessions, not only
Sure,
with
sure.
will for this kind of FDPR workshop, but also for my NIT Sikkim students also, and
Thank
also
you.
looking
Yeah, very good.
and also looking for your physical presence here also.
Yes, yes. Whenever things will improve, there should be physical presence.
Whenever this pandemic will be over. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And on behalf of the participants, I have one request. You have already sent the slide, and I will share it with participants. But at the same time, I am requesting you, sir, please send me 4-5 MCQ questions so that
Sure.
I will include for their evaluation purposes. So that
Sure,
is
sure. I'll do
mandatory
that.
task
I'll do that.
as instructed by AICTC.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay, sir.
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
okay, bye.
Have a good day. Participants, hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now it's 4:11 only. So the third session will start from 4:30 onwards. Third session will start from 4:30 onwards. So you may take a break and resume your seat by 4:25 p.m.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. हाँ, और भी एक आ रहा है ना सुन लो आपका तो अभी प्रेजेंटेशन है हाँ, पिछले तो मैंने नहीं बोला सर बोला था हमको तो हमको उनको बुलाने के लिए तो मैंने ही तो बोला सर उसका प्रेजेंटेशन मैं नहीं बोला उसको एक कम नहीं अभी और एक सेशन है आप प्रेजेंटेशन देखा के बैठ जाइए इसके बाद भी वही तो मैं बोल ये थोड़ा सा टेक्निकली दिखाया है हैंड्स ऑन दिखाया ये हैंड्स ऑन दिखाता है हमेशा हैंड्स ऑन दिखाता है इसलिए मैं इसको प्रेफर करता हूँ आदमी बहुत अच्छा है भाई बहुत अच्छा मिला बात किया मैं उनका तो बहुत जगह पर ट्रैवल भी किया हूँ आईआईटी भिलाई भिलाई चला गया हाँ आप अपडेटेड नहीं रहते हो ना मैं क्या करूँ मेरे जो हम तो चले एक ग्रुप भी बड़ा अच्छा था मैं उसके साथ रायपुर तक विजिट भी किया एक साथ टाइप अच्छा ये लोग का प्रोफाइल काफी तगड़ा हो गया तगड़ा प्रोफाइल हो गया टाइम देता है बस टाइम देता है टाइम देना पड़ेगा आपको एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करके कोई फायदा नहीं बस থেকে যাও ওই আমি 4:25 করে আসবো সব ইন্ট্রোডিউস করবো আমার কাগজটা কই এটা রইলো 4:25 আসবো মাইকে দিয়ে হবে না হ্যাঁ কোথায় মাইক কই ভিডিওটা খুলে দিস। So participants all are ready for the next session. Hello. Participants are ready. In the last session of this day, we have Dr. Govind Prasad Gupta ji from NIT Raipur. So on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Sikkim, it is our privilege and pleasure, sir, to welcome you here to deliver an expert lecture on introduction detection system. Dr. Govind Prasad Gupta ji received his PhD degree from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, in 2014. He is presently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at National Institute of Technology, Raipur. He has published more than 50 research papers in reputed peer-reviewed journal conferences. His current research interests include Internet of Things, software-defined network security, blockchain application development for IoT, enterprise blockchain, etc. He is also a member of IEEE and SCM. So thank you, sir. We are honored, sir, for being here and spending your valuable time with us. So now I request you to deliver your lecture.
Thanks for your nice introduction, sir. Thanks to all.
Welcome, sir.
So may I audible?
Yeah.
So for better utilization of bandwidth, can I switch off video or I have to keep our video on?
No, video is not an issue, sir. But instead of sharing your whole window, you just present only that PPT window.
Okay.
Your whole window is sharing. So instead of that, you just so that is okay. That is good enough. And now you may switch off your video. Not an issue.
Okay. So that's better for the utilization of bandwidth. Okay. Now is it visible?
Yeah, visible.
Okay. So after two very hectic session attended by the participant, I am going to deliver my lecture in the third session, and I hope you all are awake for the next 1 hour. Okay. So the topic for today's this session presentation is the intrusion detection system for the fog-based IoT system. So actually, in this talk, I'm going to discuss some work we have done in the past 1 year along with our PhD students. And we have proposed a distributed architecture for designing the ideas for IoT system. Okay, so our main focus will be on this. Okay, since there are many expert has discussed the basic concept of intrusion detection system. So a little bit basic concept I'll just discuss, and then in detail I'll discuss our proposed model. So as you know, the intrusion detection system, the main responsibility is to provide tools which not only segregate the malicious traffic, also inform the network administrator. Okay, so the main responsibility of IDS is actually designed for the different kind of system. It may be designed for the wireless network, it may be designed for the IoT, it may be designed for the vehicular network, it can be designed for the ad hoc network, for the IoT, okay, maybe designed for the cloud system, maybe designed for the your data center network. So for the different context, the requirement of intrusion detection system is different. So since the requirement of the different system and their resources is different, so the architecture adopted by the researcher or proposed by the researcher is different. So our today's this talk only focus on the IoT system. Okay, for the IoT system, we are going to propose the IDS system. How to design the IDS system for the IoT. So the mean before intrusion detection system, there are many system has deployed the firewall. So since the basic concept behind the firewall is the packet filtering, okay, the deep packet inspection is not done by the firewall. The responsibility of IDS is to perform deep packet inspection such that we can easily segregate which TCP segment or UDP segment is the malicious or which is the normal. So generally, from the attacker's point of view, attackers perform some kind of activity in order to gain the unauthorized access of the network. So one of the easiest technique for gaining the unauthorized access to the existing network is the port scanning. So there are some tools is available like the Nmap. With help of Nmap tools, we can easily attacker can easily get the port, open port, okay, available in any web server or a file server, and when uh, an attacker get the open port can easily make a socket connection, TCP socket connection with the web server or the FTP server. So there are various correlations exist between the normal packet and the abnormal packet. If the packet is normal, so their structure is different, their payload is different, their flags is different. If packet generated for scanning the port of the host system, that the correlation of the packet, yeah, you can say organization of packet data structure is different. So generally, IDS is going to use these correlations among the packets in order to distinguish which packet is belong to the normal category and which packet belong to the attack category. So since the previous expert has discussed in detail the different type of intrusion detection system, so generally it is of three types in the context of IoT also. Since IoT is nothing but a network of small sensor devices connected to the internet. So here there are some a router is also 6BR, which is connected 6-LoWPAN border router, okay, which is facilitate the connection to the internet, okay. So there are various IoT devices are connected, and they are transferring their data through the 6-LoWPAN border router. And this 6-LoWPAN border router facilitate the connection to the outside world, okay, through the internet. So generally, the attack in the IoT system are two type. One is the internal attack, other is the external attack. So maybe intrusion is also maybe of two type, okay, in the context of IoT. So why it is of two types? Since nature of IoT system is open. Okay. So generally the IoT devices are deployed in an open environment, not in the closed environment. Okay. So in the context of wired network, researcher focus on only the external threat. Okay. Mostly. Okay. But in case of IoT system, researcher has focused on the both aspect, the internal attacks as well as the external attack. So the attack, just like the entity which facilitate the storage of IoT data, or which facilitate the management of IoT system, okay, are targeted by the external entity, external users. Okay. Now, the another category is the internal attack. Since our IoT devices are deployed in the open environment, just like in the smart city concept, uh, 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 you can say your smart agriculture. So your devices is in the open. Okay, anyone can compromise it. So if anyone can compromise our deployed IoT devices, okay, and that device become the malicious by the reprogramming, by reprogramming the malicious code, so it can also perform some kind of pollutions. It can pollute the collected data. It can divert the leak, perform the leakage of the sensing data. So in the context of IoT system, if we are going to design the IDS, we have to focus on both aspects, internal attack as well as the external attack. So that's why generally we are focused on the hybrid architecture. Okay, so where IDS concept can also deploy over the host as well as the network infrastructure. So just like in the detection methodology, in the context of IoT, there are two type of IDS. One is the signature based IDS, other is the anomaly based IDS. So in the signature based IDS, based on the experience, your system gathered all the abnormal activity in a database. Okay, if any network traffic arrive, your IDS system collect that network traffic. Okay, and then if they found the incoming traffic match with the already available signatures of attack data, then it generate a alarm. It generate a alarm and also report to the network administrator. Okay, there is a intrusion over the IoT system. But in this is a very simplest concept, and this is a very easy architecture. You can say a detection method for detecting the different attack over the IoT. But the main limitation of this system is the uh, it never learn a new attacks. Okay, if it only match with the existing known attack. Okay, if any unknown attack arrived, okay, then this signature based IDS is failed to recognize the malicious traffic. Now, in case of anomalies based intrusion detection model, what happened in this? Uh, the IDS, which is designed based on the anomalies, they just uh, uh, capture some correlation information of the packet data. Okay, their frequency of arrivals. Okay, different flags, nature of the payload. Okay, uh, different traffic type, their port number signature, their IP addresses, port number combination, and all that. So generally, in the anomalies based IDS, we the IDS apply the deep packet inspection concept, where they try to correlate the normal packet with the abnormal packet. Okay, so based on the correlation with the normal traffic and the some abnormal traffic, they decide the incoming traffic is abnormal or normal. Okay, so there are here is some comparison between the signature based and anomaly based IDS system designed for the IoT. So in context of the signature, this method is very simple, accurate, and effective to capture known intrusion. Okay, uh, and this system is very fast. It provides a fast detection. Okay, whatever the frequency of the arrival of data. Now, the main cons of this signature-based system is it cannot detect the unknown, okay, or some variation of the unknown attacks, okay, and it frequently this system required more time for maintaining the knowledge base of the known attack. In case of anomalies based system, it is very useful for both known and unknown attacks. Okay, it has a very low dependency on OS system or the existing knowledge. Okay, and it generally use some machine and deep learning concept for learning the correlation between the normal packets and abnormal packets. Okay, and based on the correlation of the data, it going to decide the packet is belonging to the normal category or abnormal category. So basically, vulnerability in the context of IoT are generally two type. So attacker either try to attack on the IoT application in order to prevent the IoT based services, or they try to attack on the protocol. So generally, since IoT devices are deployed in an open environment, so it's very easy to target on the routing of the packet. So since IoT devices are very constrained in terms of resources, they have a very limited computing power, uh, memories, and also operated by the battery, so it can easily be compromised. Okay, so basically in the context of IoT, the attacks is on the two category. We target the IoT applications, okay, deploy over the IoT devices, or the routing of the packet. So basically, there are two type of attacks over the IoT network. Okay, one is the external intruder. Okay, which going to perform the attacks, yeah, intrude into the IoT system, or the internal intruder. So internal intruder is a IoT device of the legitimate IoT device, but some system is going to compromise it. They are going to compromise by in routing process, in the handshaking process, in negotiation. Okay, so such kind of attack is called the insider attack also, and generally these insider attacks behave two type of behaviors. One is the selfish node. So these node is not going to cooperate in forwarding the data of other IoT devices, or it is not going to cooperate in the communications. Okay. Other is the malicious kind of node. So the compromised IoT device, which behave as a malicious, if it is going to perform some malicious activity. So in the malicious activity, it can generate some spurious data, or it can divert the traffic, incoming traffic, to some unknown IoT device, or it can selectively forward the data, okay, or it simply flood the traffic to the base station. So, in order to design the IDS system, we have to keep care of these two attacks. Okay, so successfully design we can successfully design the IDS system if we know the nature of attack. Okay, without getting the knowledge of attackers behavior, we can't uh, uh, design a robust and efficient IDS. So we should understand the different attacks attackers concept, attackers logic which is used for intruding into the system, and then we try to formulate our IDs. So what happened in the external attack? In the external attack, generally attacker try to perform these kind of activities. Okay, so in case of external intrusion, either attacker perform the port scanning. So port scanning generally used for gaining the open port. Okay, and when attacker gets the open port, with help of open port, it can easily intrude into the system. Okay. Other is the in the context of IoT, the routing protocol is generally asymmetric. Okay, so not a same path is followed by all the packet. Okay, from IoT device to base station. Okay, so this asymmetric routing property is exploited by the external attacker. Okay, in order to divert the traffic. Other is the buffer overflow attack. So in this, since IoT devices has a very limited memory, so attacker try to flood the request packet या hello packet to the recipient IoT device in order to make its memory overflow. Okay, so that it is not able to forward the others packet, the other device packet. Now, the next type of attack is the protocol specific. In case of IoT, your protocol stack is lightweight compared to the wired network. Okay, and it has a very limited capabilities. So, the attacker try to exploit the weaknesses of protocols, different protocols like the in application constraints application protocol. In link layer, they use the uh, uh, six low pane for the routing. They have going to exploit the RPL. Okay, so in the RPL, generally they form the directed acyclic graph. So generally, by compromising the IoT devices, they are going to make a loop. Okay, so traffic is going to move within a loop, so that uh, it going to stop the services of IoT devices. Traffic flooding, torsion, worms. So these kind of tactics used by the attackers in order to perform external attack. Now, in case how we perform the port scanning. So in order to perform the port scanning, generally we are using the Nmap tool. So the port scanning may be of two types. You are going to scan all the ports of a single system, or you are programmed such that a given port number you are detecting that is free to all available IoT system or not. Okay, so in order to scan the port number, generally attacker use the Nmap tool. So Nmap tool is open source software, and with help of Nmap tool, you can easily know the version of operating system, the version of the web browser of the host. Okay, uh, TCP traffic. You can explore the UDP. Okay, you can scan the sync three-way handshake. So generally, when is there any question?
Hello, hello, participant. Please switch off your mic. Please mute your mic.
సింపుల్ వర్క్ వచ్చింది బాగా.
Please mute your mic, participants.
So in the port scanning is a very simple intrusion technique. So intruder, in order to get the port, simply use the three-way handshake mechanism. Okay, so we know in the three-way handshake mechanism, initially, if a host want to connect to the web server, first send a sync message. After receiving the sync message, so when you are going to send a sync message, uh, there is a lot of noise. Huh?
Hello,
Shweta,
hello. Please mute your mic.
So Sweta Gadge, okay.
Yes, sir. You can continue. You can continue, sir.
So in case of port scanning, what the attacker do? Attacker exploit the three-way handshake mechanism. So whenever you are going to perform a TCP connection, first you perform the three-way handshake. So host first send a sync message. If it is successfully received the sync acknowledgement, it means that port is open. So the port number of the destination is supplied through the sync message. If a host receive the sync acknowledgement, it means that port is open. Okay, then it successfully send the acknowledgement. But if suppose attacker guessing a particular port number is open or not, if it is sending a sync message, and if that port number is not open, that is closed, okay, then your web server simply send the error message, reset message. Okay, so when it receives the reset message, then automatically attacker know the given port number is closed. So once attacker know the availability of open port, it can easily perform a TCP connection, okay, through the web to the web server, okay, and so that they can easily get the unauthorized access to the network. Okay, so this is the way, one way of getting the external attack. Okay. Now, I'm going to focus on the internal attack. So this is a simple diagram of fog-based IoT network where IoT devices are connected to the gateway, and gateway is connected to the 6-LoWPAN border router, and this 6-LoWPAN border router facilitate the connection to the outside world. So let us assume 6-LoWPAN border router connected to the fog node. So why we are focusing on the fog-based IoT architecture? Because we know IoT is a distributed network and it has some limitation. So limitation in terms of compute, limitation in terms of memory, limitation in terms of energy. Okay, so in order to offload the computing task of the IoT devices to the fog node, okay, generally nowadays researchers focus on the fog-based IoT architecture. So let us assume since our IoT devices are deployed in the open environment, and if any malicious user is going to compromise the opened IoT devices by reprogramming it, okay, uh, by making some kind of lucrative offer of diverting their traffic, okay, during the network setup phase, if they may compromise, or they may introduce a new node, compromise node, okay, with the idea of already deployed IoT node. So maybe these malicious device can perform different malicious activities, like they may introduce some spurious data to malign the sensing data sent by the IoT devices, or they may not participate in the communication in routing. So if any packet arrive to this node, they can may drop, okay, or may divert the traffic from intended legitimate base station to some unknown base stations. So there are various kind of internal attacks happen over the IoT. So one by one, I'm going to discuss. So uh, just like there are different internal attacks like the packet flooding, okay, black hole, selective forwarding, sybils, okay, and you know the nature of these attacks are generally two types, okay. Either they focus on to increase the traffic intensity, or they try to decrease the traffic intensity. So just like in the packet flooding, so the objective of packet flooding is to increase the intensity of traffic flooding, so such that the the services of IoT is not available to the legitimate users. So their target is the availability. Okay. Similarly, the vulnerability attacks, they just try to exploit the some weaknesses of tiny OS, yeah, operating system of the IoT devices. Okay, and try to easily modify it. Okay, so their objective is in anyhow we need to prevent the IoT services. So we need to prevent the availability of IoT services. Now, there are some other attacks whose objective is to decrease the traffic intensity. Means they focus on to drop the packet. Okay, just like the selective forwarding. So some packet is coming to a relay node. Okay, or the so relay node is not going to forward all packets arrived to it. Okay, so their objective is to just decrease the traffic intensity. Okay, similarly, the Sibyl attack, okay, by using the identity of another's, okay, they are going to divert the traffic from legitimate base station to another base station. Okay, in the black hole, they have created a dummy sync node, okay, which attract all the traffic, okay, and prevent the traffic reaching to the legitimate base station. So the attack are two types, and their objective is either increase the traffic intensity or decrease the traffic intensity. So during the ideas design, our our data set, our machine learning or deep learning model also look into the pattern of the traffic. Okay, so the normal behavior of the traffic, IoT traffic, and abnormal behavior of the traffic is easily recognized by the well-trained machine or deep learning model in order to segregate the attack is the traffic is attacker's traffic or normal traffic. So in the selective forwarding, what happened? Uh, some this node, okay, when it received the packet, it not going to forward it, but it informs its children node. Okay, I have forwarded your packet to the sync node. So this perform the selective forwarding. However, this has informed the node. Okay, I have already forwarded. Okay, the fake reply they perform to its children node, but they drop it. Okay, so that's called the selective forwarding. In the sinkhole attack, what happened? A compromised node, okay, which is compromised by any internal IoT devices, behave as a malicious sync node. So sync node is legitimate sync node is this, but this node behave as a sync node, okay, and tells all the nodes, okay, I am the sync node, okay, and just does not forward the traffic to the legitimate sync. Okay, they keep all the traffic to itself. So it just attract all the traffic to the malicious node. So this is in the category of uh, decreasing the traffic intensity. In the wormhole attacks, they divert the traffic. So some node behave as they are near to the sink. Okay, so suppose they directly communicate. So this H say, okay, I have a path to Z. Okay, so B is not going to forward the packet to A, they simply forward to H. Okay, so generally in the wormhole attack, they divert the traffic from one section to another section. Okay, and not participate in the legitimate routing. In the Sibyl attack, the compromised node use the identity, it change the identity, okay, its identity, okay, and behave as a uh, uh, behave as the others nodes. Like the B is having an identity of C and E, and when it is going to participate, okay, it introduces the other's neighbor and the C and E. Okay, similarly here K is using the identity of node A and D, okay, and participating in the system. So maybe suppose generally in the IoT system, the inference of IoT data is based on the location. Okay, so maybe suppose this system B is sending its sensing data, okay, and in the packet they put the identity of C, okay, and however the reading is done by the B. So in this way, the data which is captured, yeah, gathered at the base station, okay, not going to perform some best analytics, okay, because analytics is also based on the location context, okay. So the IoT data analytics is also dependent on the location context, and sometimes location is also used as an identity, okay. So they may transfer the data by forcing the different location. Similarly, the Halo flood attack, so they try to intensify the traffic intensity. So compromise node, they just flood a small packet to its all neighbors, okay, and they try to perform a buffer overflow, okay. Uh, this is a kind of DDoS attack, internal DDoS attack. So in IoT architecture, the different layers are prone to attack by the different threats. Okay, like perceptions layer generally attacker focus on to uh, compromise the resources of the IoT devices. Okay, perform some kind of physical damages. Okay, in case of network layer, they try to compromise the routing protocol. Okay, they try to compromise the IoT devices by unauthorized access. Okay, yeah, or getting some unauthorized connectivity to the uh, 6 low-pane routers. Okay, or the gateways. Uh, at the applications layer, they are going to just reprogram the functionalities. Okay, they are going to compromise the applications deployed over the device. So at different layers, different challenges exist. So now I'm going to focus on our architecture, uh, distributed architecture for IDS based on the fog IoT. So in order to in order to incorporate both internal threats as well as internal threats as well as external threat, fog node play a very important role. Why? Because you can't deploy IDS software to each IoT devices, because generally IDS is a very heavyweight. Okay, so in order to perform efficient intrusion detection for the IoT system, the researchers think about the fog-based IoT system, where they think about two layer of IDS. Okay, so in the two layer of IDS, so here in the fog node, so generally fog node is used for uh, collecting the data or performing some computation on behalf of IoT. So let's assume there is a cluster of IoT devices, and this cluster of IoT devices is responsible is going to transfer their network traffic to this fog node. Okay. Now this fog node has installed a small IDS, and their responsibility is to segregate only the two binary. So traffic is normal or traffic is abnormal. So since attack is also of different kind, okay, it is not of two kind, only the normal traffic or abnormal. Attack may be a civil attack, maybe a DDoS attack, maybe a wormhole attack, okay, maybe some protocol scanning attack, some kind of. So what uh, we think about, we segregate two type of IDS. The one IDS which going to segregate the traffic is normal, traffic is abnormal. Okay. Now after that, we upload the data traffic to the cloud to further segregation of the abnormal traffic to the multiple class. Okay. So in this architecture, generally two type of classifier is used. Okay, so once traffic is captured, okay, at the first level, binary classifier is deployed, and its responsibility is simply to segregate, okay, this is the normal traffic, this is the abnormal traffic. Now, in the second level, a multi-classifier is deployed, and this multi-classifier is deployed, okay, at the cloud level. Okay, so it's further classify, okay, the different uh, uh, attack, different attacks types. Okay, so if it is non-intrusive, then it bypass the second level multi-class. Okay, if it is attack class, then that is passed to the multi-class classifier. Okay, in order to further classify the different attacks. So in our architecture, uh, uh, we have proposed this, and this work is published in uh, this year in the Springer Ambient AISC journal. Okay, so this is the this IDS architecture is deployed over the fog. Okay, so what we do initially we have some training data. Okay, means we have already captured some traffic. Okay, and that traffic, after capturing, we perform some kind of pre-processing. So again, there is challenge how to perform the how to capture the traffic. So in order to capture the traffic, may I audible now to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In order to perform the collection of this training data, generally we use the ECAP. Okay, so I have included. So there is a tool that is called the TCP dump. Okay, so TCP dump is used, and this TCP dump tool is a command line packet analyzer tool. And with help of this TCP dump tool, you can easily capture the traffic. Okay, so simply suppose what we do initially, if you want to say how many interfaces are available, okay, which are going to receive the traffic. So if you want to display all the interface of your system, simply write a command sudo TCP dump -d. Suppose you are going to collect all kind of traffic. Okay, so simply use the option -i any, means all kind of traffic, TCP, UDP, or some other ICMP. Okay, if you are going to target it to a particular interface, okay, so simply use. So what we do generally, we use the TCP dump tool in order to uh, collect the uh, traffic data. So suppose you are going to focus on only the traffic intended to port 80. So simply use the sudo TCP dump port 80. Okay. Suppose if you want to get all the traffic that is belonging to the TCP segment, so simply use the TCP option. Okay. Suppose if you want to display, you want to collect traffic that is intended to the source port number 80. So simply use the command this sudo TCP dump source port 80. Okay. So uh, generally, what happened initially when you are going to use a machine or deep learning technique, initially you should collect some traffic data. Okay, so initially suppose our training data is available here, we have to perform some kind of data pre-processing. So why we require data pre-processing? Because during the data collections, maybe due to the nature of IoT, you know, the IoT node is transferring data through the wireless, and wireless channel is a very noisy channel. Sometimes packet is dropped, okay, yeah, corrupted, okay, missing. Okay, so we need some kind of normalization, some kind of uh, technique for filling the missing data value, okay, for mapping the features. Okay, so first we apply some kind of pre-processing techniques like the feature mapping. So there are some numerical features we have to map into the textual features into the numerical. Okay, we perform some imputing missing value. Okay, normalizations of the attributes, and then some feature selection techniques is applied. Okay, and then uh, uh, we segregate the training data into the two-fold, training fold and validation fold. Okay, so in the second phase, we apply the first level of the binary classifier. Okay, so KNN, XGBoost, and Gaussian Naive based models are used, and among these three, which one is performing the best? Okay, that goes to the second level of the classifier, that is the random forest. Okay, now once our model is trained, our machine model is trained, okay, that model is deployed to the IoT devices. Okay, and now suppose a new traffic is coming. So if new traffic is coming to the fog node, okay, so fog node is trained here. Okay, so suppose new traffic is coming from the cluster of IoT devices here. So we perform some kind of pre-processing and insert into the trained model. Okay, then trained model observe the packet correlations. Okay, and then if check the packet is normal packet or abnormal packet, attack packet. If it is attack packet, then it inform to the network administrator. Either if it is a uh, normal activities, okay, then it do the rest. If it is a attack traffic, then that traffic is put into the log, okay, in order to further refine the training log. Okay, so this is architecture, a two-level architecture we have proposed. And since IoT devices, in order to provide the scalable idea system for the IoT system, your IoT system is deployed in a huge quantity. Okay, and they have deployed in different applications. Okay, so the fog play a very important role in order to facilitate the fast intrusion detection. Okay, because here your traffic is not centralized, it is distributed. The traffic coming from this section of the IoT devices put into this fog, the traffic coming from this set of the IoT devices coming stored into this fog. So your data set is distributed. Okay, and parallelly they perform some kind of uh, machine learning or deep learning technique they have used in order to decide the uh, quality of the traffic data. Okay, and then decide the. So this is the flow diagram. So generally we have tested our model with the two data set. One is the UNSB NB15 and other is the bot IoT. So these two data set are open source data set. They are available. Okay, and recently we are going to use this AIWA. Okay, and the capacity of this data is the 10.5 gigabyte. Okay, so presently we are going to deploy this system over the big data system Apache Spark. Okay, because in a single system training with a 10 GB data is take a huge time. So we are going to use so a little bit of experiment we have done with the Apache Spark. Okay, and we get a huge performance. Okay, compared to the single system. Okay, so it's a challenge, still challenge how to cope up with the big data. Okay, because your quantity of the data is huge. Okay, so a lot of open source data set is available. Okay, both for the wired and wireless network. These two is for the wireless category. This is for the IoT, bot IoT, and this is also for the wireless network, Wi-Fi network, AIWA. Okay. So yeah, so this I have done. Now there are some open issues, okay, in the context of ideas designed for the IoT system. So the first is the privacy preservation. Okay, so you know the ideas generally perform the deep packet inspection. So during the deep packet inspection, ideas may exploit the private information of the host node. So in order to suppose if anyhow your idea system is going to compromised by the attacker. So if idea system is going to compromised by the attacker, then your private information of the host, location of the idea system may revealed. And if the location of the idea systems or the host name is revealed, then it become very dangerous to prevent the attacks because your idea system is going to compromised. So in order to prevent the uh, 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 in order to preserve the privacy of the host location information, yeah, location of the IDS information, we have to focus on the privacy preserving IDS system. Uh, uh, we have uh, uh, we have published one paper and we have proposed a solution based on the blockchain technology. So you know the blockchain is a very robust architecture which facilitate uh, the preservation of your information. Only the legitimate user can access it. Okay, so and that work is published in the Spring elsewhere publications. So since I have not included that architecture due to the limitation of time, since 1 hour is allocated. Now, other is the location anonymity. Okay, so sometimes we have to separate mechanism which uh, uh, which make a anonymity of the idea system, because if anyhow attackers know the location of idea system, okay, so it try to compromise it. It try to get unauthorized access, or it try to check the behavior of ideas. So once the behavior of ideas is known, okay, to outside world, they can easily compromise it. So you can also focus on the location anonymity solution for the idea system. Other is the reduced computation. Since the traffic generated by the IoT system is huge, okay, so as the in order to provide the scalable solutions, the traffic, yeah, you can see the data generated by the IoT devices become huge. It becomes the big data. So it's a challenge is to use some big data processing tool in order to offload the computation of resource constraints IoT devices. Okay, and such that we can easily and fastly detect the intrusion. Okay, so still there are many work is going on over the IoT in the context of IoT for the providing the IDS solutions. Okay, it is not a saturated and still a lot of work uh, required in order to provide some uh, uh, robust and efficient accuracy. Okay, because there are still some uh, uh, problems like the streaming. Your traffic data is the streaming data. Okay, so the streaming, checking the streaming traffic runtime, okay, timely, it's a challenge. So mostly the many existing researcher using the offline data for the training. So in order to provide the fast and real-time detection of the traffic, we have to focus on the stream processing. Okay, so there are many nowadays framework is available with the Apache Spark, Hadoop. There are some packages, is separate packages was developed by the different researcher in order to handle the streaming data. Okay, so just like the Kafka, Apache Kafka, facilitating the handling of the IoT stream data. So you can focus on designing the IDS system for these platform, okay, with help of these platform, okay, in order to perform the fast detection. So these research paper I have adopted for this talk. Okay, in more detail, if you want to know, so we have our talk is mostly based on our research paper published this year. Okay, in the relay transaction emerging telecommunication technology and the Journal of Ambient Intelligence, Human Computation. And this last week we have got one acceptance of this elsewhere paper. In this, we have proposed a privacy preserving model, okay, using the blockchain technology to protect the anonymity of the IDS system in the smart city context. Okay, so that's all. If you have any query, then I'm very happy to give the answer. Is there any query?
Participants, any query from your side? Participants? Sir, it looks like that everything, whatever you have discussed, that is clear to all of them, and no confusion is there. No confusion is there. And also, sir, I should congratulate you because frequently you are getting the paper acceptance from elsewhere IEEE. As you have shown here in presentation.
Actually, in 2019, we have got no acceptance. Okay. All papers are in the queue. So suddenly in the month of November, we have got the 2 acceptance. Okay. So it's just a matter.
No, that means also reviewers are also giving more time due to pandemic situation, I guess. Reviewer, editor, all are.
Yes.
Same scenario is here also for me also. Last year that much was publication was not there, but this year it is just one by one it's coming.
Yeah.
So anyway, sir, I should thank you. It was our great honor for being here, sir, and spending your valuable time with us. So my request on behalf of participant to you that, sir, please share your PPT so that I can share the PPT with the participants, and also send me 4 or 5 MCQ questions so that I will utilize for the evaluation purposes of the participants.
Okay. Today I'll send. Okay, I'll also send the PPT. Okay. So thank you very much to all for hearing me. Okay. Thank you. If
Thank
you
you,
have
sir. We also look forward to more sessions in future, sir, on behalf of NIT Sikkim.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, what happened now, I have prepared some other slide for this talk. But when I saw the previous talk, okay, most of the content is covered by professors.
Yeah. So that's why I have shared the whole schedule with all participants as well as with all speakers.
Okay, so actually at one time I have changed some PPT. No problem. Okay. So if you have a participant, you have any query, then you can also mail to me. Okay. Yeah. So it's a huge area. Actually, there are many. This field is actually open. Many researchers. Anyone interested, focus on some emerging topic, because publishing a paper is nowadays a very challenging task. If you are focused on the old topic, then it's very hard to publish.
Yes, definitely.
So Sangram sir, actually there is one my scholar is just suffering too hard. Okay. And this scholar is working on some new topic, so it's getting a good response. So it's better to focus on the new technology. Okay.
So that's why it is technology engineering. Na? Always you have to move forward, not backward.
Yeah.
So one of the participant is requesting you, sir, can you share your paper on blockchain?
Yes, that is available, online available. Okay. This one, yeah, this one is available. Okay, you go to this Journal of System Architecture. It is available from 28th November. Okay, on 28th November it is uh, included into the early version of the journal. So go to the elsewhere Journal of System Architecture. Okay, so you can get this paper.
Just 2 days back also I got an acceptance from Journal of System Architecture.
Okay. Congratulations, sir.
One of my students had worked hard.
Okay.
And I just got that acceptance.
So actually these 3 papers are available online. Okay. And this is also based on the blockchain IoT system. Okay. It is published in the Relay Transaction on Emerging Telecommunication Technology.
Oh, ETT.
Yes. So all paper are available. Okay. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Please send those documents, and later the official purposes again I will contact you. Some more formalities is there. I will need some documents, signed documents from your side. Okay. So I will contact you. But so today you just share me that PPT and 4-5 questions. MCQ questions. Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you.
And participants, so today it is over for all 3 sessions. I guess it was hectic, but I hope that you people have really enjoyed and grasped the knowledge in the field of intrusion detection system as well as in the legal mandate, etc. So yesterday I have not received all the PPTs, so that's why I was unable to share it with you people. But today, whatever PPTs I have received, I will definitely share it. Okay. And no need to audit about that the update of attendance, etc. So many participants are asking me, no need to audit. If your attendance is okay, you are attending all the sessions and it is marked in the Google Meet, I will measure the your live session in Google Meet attendance. So obviously it will be reflected in your attendance. So no need to audit. If you are attending the session, so there is no chances of miss your attendance. Okay, so no need to worry, and also read the PPTs and also listen carefully, because whatever the MCQ questions will comes during evaluation purposes, all will comes from these sessions only, based on these sessions only. So no need to worry about attendance. Okay, thank you. Have a good day to all of you, and we'll meet again tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Help me on the